Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
What's up, good people? We in the building, getting it started live with a live panel. This will be a reoccurring thing, probably once a week. Do something like this. So I like to thank everybody who's in the building. I like to thank the panel, everybody who came up. Even we got Game Changer coming in from the West Coast. It's like 7 a.m. Had to wake up bright and early. Sandra just found out she's in. Where you at? Unmute. You muted.
I'm in Hangzhou, China.
Hangzhou, China. It's like 11 p.m. out there. So I'd like to thank the panel for coming up. We'll go around the room, even though most people know Rob, most people know Game Changer, but we'll do that because we're starting out with a panel. I'll let everybody do a quick brief introduction before we get all the way into it. Y'all know Game Changer, but we could start out with Game Changer, go around everybody. So go ahead, Game Changer.
Okay, so just a basic introduction. Game Changer. I have a show here. Basically, talk about how we can work together to take down the gynocracy. Been at it for a while, and happy to be here to have this discussion.
Right on. And my man Rod of God podcast in the building, who been low-key making some waves. Did one of the best videos in that I've seen so far this year, where you came up with the concept of the basically it was black male excellent. I'm gonna always botch the name whenever I try to explain it. So you go ahead and explain it. Basically, like Black Manosphere Awards, basically what you came up with, and it was amazing. So go ahead, introduce yourself.
Appreciate that, man. Salute BR. Good morning, everybody. Rod of God podcast, the place where the red pill and the red letter Bible meet, basically looking at it from the Bible perspective. And I came up with the idea to have, all of us who are viewers of the manosphere space and content creators to, recognize each other for their excellence. So I came up with this idea to do an award where we do exactly that. So yeah, make sure y'all vote. We got like 1,000 views on it, but only 100 votes, man. Vote.
Right on. And we're gonna go. Damn, Sandra, it looked like your camera just got real ashy real quick. Something just happened.
It's that CCP internet.
What is CCP? You in like the hood in Hangzhou, China? You in
No,
the ghetto part of China?
Actually, I'm in a really nice neighborhood. It's just when using a VPN, it just for some reason it's always giving me issues over here in China, because technically I'm not supposed to be on YouTube in China because it's illegal over here.
It looked like it's coming back. It's probably going to fade in and out. Because it
might.
Okay, yeah, it looked like you came back in clear. But anyway, give a quick introduction.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Sandra Faye. I have a YouTube channel on, obviously, YouTube. I talk about many different topics, not just relationships. I also talk about being a Black woman in China and different experiences that I've had. So, if you just like your girl, you can go ahead and check me out over on my channel.
All right. And Brenda Muma. Did I say your last name right? Muema.
Close.
Brenda Muema. All right, go ahead and give an introduction before we get things started here.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Brenda Muema. So I do not, like everybody else, have a YouTube channel per se, but I do have a YouTube health channel. But I stumbled
said a
upon the
YouTube health
manosphere
channel. Wait, hold on, real quick.
health
You said you
channel.
had
Yes. Hmm.
that would count
Yes,
as a
a
YouTube
YouTube
channel,
health
would it
channel.
not? Okay,
Yes, but it's not active. How about that?
okay,
It's not
fair
as
enough.
active. Yes, but I stumbled upon the manosphere a couple of years ago because I wanted to understand men and how we can better, you know, cooperatively work together. And so that's how I ended up at here at Bernard Riley's channel. So I am excited to be here, and I I don't know if my accent comes in and out, but I'm originally from Kenya and I moved here in 2004 in America. So I'm Kenyan American to be exact. So
All right, all right. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm sitting here telling y'all to do that, and I'm not even convinced that I've done it. Okay, I just did it myself. So now y'all can go ahead and hit the like button as we get things started here. The first question on the docket, the first conversation started. It's a conversation that's been broached in this space on my channel a couple of times, and it's a lot of different ways to take this. So I worded it kind of vague because everybody could take it in their own particular direction. But the first question is, do women really want men to tell them the truth? That could be in many different ways, in many different contexts. Do you do you do you want the guy who's pursuing? Do they actually want that dude that's pursuing them to be fully upfront, bold, and blunt about exactly what he's looking for and what he wants from them? They might not even want to hear it. Do they want him to be absolutely truthful when the relationship going on? Do they want to hear the hardcore, blunt, bold truth all the time, every time? I'm gonna start with Game Changer, who normally don't let down on these type of topics. So go ahead, Game Changer. You got the floor. You got the mic.
The short answer is no. And to follow up on it, they want you to tell the truth, but you will lose against a guy that tells a lie if that's the case. So, and you're talking about on the pursuit level. So, you could tell a woman the truth and you might get some headway if you're pursuing her. However, a guy that tells a lie that she wants to hear will win out against a guy that tells the truth all the time, all things equal. I mean, think about it like lying on your resume, where, you lie and say you graduated with a 4.0. You'll win over the guy who tells the truth and graduated with a 2.0. You definitely will. That's just how that works with women.
All right. Interesting. Bouncing around. Brenda, what you got on that?
So ultimately, do we want the truth? No, as women, because truth hurts and it's a bit of pill to swallow. So simple answer, no, we don't want the truth. But turning back on me, I do want the truth because I've been lied to. It's not a good thing. And yeah. So no, we don't want to hear the truth, but I prefer the truth myself.
You prefer the truth in that early pursuing phase.
Yes.
Dude hit you with the truth of exactly what he's looking for versus a guy who lie. So
Yes.
from a woman's from I hate the term a woman's perspective, but from a woman's perspective, I get you saying you don't want to hear it. But if guys told the absolute 100% truth every time they approach you and told you exactly what they're approaching you for, why they're approaching you, what they want, and how soon they want it, I think women would be miserable. if they really got that up front, y'all would be miserable. Right?
Yes, because we rule with emotions. And so if we don't get what we want, we are miserable. So if y'all tell us lies to kind of construct this, ideal that we have in our mind, we will be miserable. So with that, yes, but ultimately, in my opinion, the truth is a little bit better so that I can just weed out like, okay, I understand that you're coming at me, thank you, but no, on to the next. And so
All right. Jackie Jack, check your email. Check your email because somebody didn't show up and you didn't know this, but you were the unofficial replacement. And I don't know if I sent you the link properly. Okay, you did get the email. All right, I'm putting this link I'm dropping the link in the chat room for Jackie Jack if she wants to come up. This was supposed to be a mostly cammed up affair. Rod of God had some issues with why he can't do it. Hopefully you could cam up, but in the future when I do these series, it will be a all cammed up type of deal. But Rod of God in the building, throwing the question to you. What you got?
Yeah, I gotta mix it up a little bit here. Let's say this.
Let's go.
Women know the truth.
Uh-oh.
And what they want you to do is lie to them so that, shout out Anger Man, he was saying something like this last night. They want you to lie to them so that they can so that they can paint that fairy tale in their mind. So it's like, do they want the truth? I'm not, this is strictly speaking on like, acquiring them, conquering the woman, right? In terms of like approach, early dating, stuff like that. They want to be lied to. But at the same time, they'll then turn around and say, you lied to me. It's like, bruh. So they just like playing the victim, So the answer is they want you to lie to them. They want you to tell them the truth. They want both. That is woman.
Right on. Sandra Faye in the building. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
So I think oftentimes we kind of live in this delusion where we want everything to be magical. We want everything to be some kind of fairy tale. We want, the prince in shining armor to come in and sweep us off our feet. And so oftentimes what that has us doing is wanting the men that we deal with, or the men that we come in contact with, to fit within those parameters. And that's just not real life. And so, yes, I would say that most women would want you to come with that more magical, suave, Prince Charming type of energy, rather than tell you, hey, this is what it is, this is what it isn't. Me personally, with my relationship that I'm in, we're honest with each other, we're straightforward, but I understand that might not be the norm. So I do think that we as women, we've been raised on the Disney, we've been raised on, those teen movies where it's always painted so magically, and we're expecting that to be real life, and it's just not. And so I really think that a lot of women, they're looking for that magical moment, and it's not realistic. It's not realistic. So I would agree that they want the truth, as far as like, if you're just trying to, bang, bang, ski, ski, and leave, they want to know that so that they're not getting emotionally involved. But at the same time, they're still wanting that magical moment. So if most of the men, and plus,
what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that magical? Hold on. What do you mean by that magical moment?
What do I mean?
Yeah, what you talking about?
Like, they want doves flying through the sky. They want the fireworks. They want their leg to pop up when they kiss you. They want all of that.
Out the gate. Out the gate.
I mean,
real.
it's just,
keep it
these
real.
fairy tales that we kind of tell ourselves.
I know, but in reality, do you really even respect the guy who's bringing that type of energy out the gate?
Oh, no, I'm not saying I want that. I'm saying that's the general consensus of how women, we tend to view these interactions that we have with men, as far as what we want them to be. Now, if that's what it is, that's not what it typically is. And so I do believe that if men were more honest with their approach, a lot of women would be upset, because they might find out that they're not wifey material. They're not the type of woman that a man is approaching for more than just a fun night. And that would really hurt their ego, to find out that most of the men that deal with them, or most of the men that approach them, only want sex. So I think that in that regard, a lot of women will be very upset if men came straight out the gate saying, hey, I want to knock the boots, and then not call you the next day. Like, a lot of times, like, women would be upset if that was the reoccurring thing, if there weren't these lies kind of draped around it to make it feel a little bit better, even though that's what it ends up being.
Right. Brenda, I saw you laughing when I said, do you really respect that guy who's bringing out all that energy, a dozen roses and doves and shit on the first date? You was laughing when I said, do you really even respect that guy? It's like, yeah, I want that, but when y'all get it, y'all don't want it.
Right. Yeah, so it goes back to, yeah, that's true. So that guy, okay, Disney is to blame because I do have I had that mindset of a fairy tale princess, or somebody would come and save me.
Y'all gonna be charging. Y'all
And
gonna be charging up Disney the whole show, huh? Y'all just blame it on Disney.
Disney, well, I'm going to blame it on Disney because whenever I came to America, I kind of watched that, and then I was like, what if I have that? So now I started moving around the world looking for the Prince Charming, and unfortunately, I ended up finding one, but it's not exactly what it is. And so, and it's not the significant other that I have, but he had to, he lied. He lied the whole time to just create this persona of him, of who he is, and
What did
what
he
he
lie
did.
about? Hold on, what did he lie about? Was it
Hmm.
like Tinder swindler level lying or
Yes,
just
actually.
oh shit, we gotta
Yeah,
hear
it's
that
exactly
story.
that.
Damn.
I know.
You ain't hold on, you from you from Africa. Well, you said Kenya, you ain't say
Yeah.
Nigeria, the
Kenya,
Nigerians,
yeah.
they got a reputation, them Nigerian swindlers. They got a reputation. Was he Nigerian? Was that
He's Ugandan, and so he is from Africa also, but they move differently. In other words, during the pandemic, it was an epidemic of domestic violence, of abuse of men abusing women and children, and so that type of fairy tale, and you have to factor in religion and how how you're viewed as a woman, or you can't keep your man together, all that. But
well
he
no well
lied
as much as
about everything, and he
okay, go
swindled
ahead.
me, including like he financially abused me, manipulated every situation. Like even if it was like facts, I will, you know, carve out facts, and then he will totally ignore that and then try to say it's my fault. But he's actually the one who was doing every single thing to create all these illusions, and I couldn't tell who he
You s-
was. And so I started interviewing
I
people
got
to
I got
see
I
who
gotta
he
I
truly was.
gotta I gotta ask because you said he
Hmm.
you said on some Tinder swindler stuff and he got some money about you.
Hmm.
Like how we got we don't I don't sometimes I'll be wanting to get personal, but you went there, so we going down that rabbit hole.
That's fine.
How okay, cool. You said it's fine, so all right, don't renege. But anyway, how explain explain what he got about you. How did that go?
Hmm.
Money
So
wise.
he, yeah, so he created, so how he did it, first promised a relationship
And
and
by the way, hold on
couldn't
real quick. By
deliver.
the way,
Hmm.
Game Changer and Rod, y'all could. I mean, it's going to be a moderated discussion. We're gonna keep it organized, but I mean, anybody can interject at any time if y'all hear something that y'all just want to like. Hold on.
Say less.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I do have a question, but
Okay.
I want to hear the story though.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Anybody can interject at any time. We're gonna keep it organized, but still, I don't mind interruptions, interjections, or questions. And oh shit, she said. Hopefully.
Ah.
I'm gonna give her a benefit of the doubt that she'll be
Well,
back.
Well, I got a question
Go
for
ahead.
Sandra.
Okay, here she goes. She back.
I'm so sorry.
I thought I
Internet
thought
issues.
I thought you bailed on us because you didn't want to say nothing.
No.
Okay. All right. What's up? Go ahead. You was going.
Oh yeah. So how did he get to the Twitter to the Twitter swindler, Tinder swindler? So actually very charming. Sadly, I was at that time I was looking for this. Oh, I guess Disney princess type of thing. And one thing I guess I was going for, you get what what you're trying to attract, is I wanted somebody to understand me, to get me. And coming to America has always created this dissonance of I'm not Kenyan enough and I'm not American enough whenever we go back to. Kenya, like I stick out like a sore thumb, and then in America, like I'm still in. Although I've worked on my accent and everything like that, I'm not that. And so I wanted somebody who understood me. However,
it sounds like you're talking around the part. I mean, I guess the part I want to know, and because keep in mind, I can charm my way into some
anything.
sex, but no, not into anything. I can be charming, and a woman could like my charmingness, and we'll end up having sex. I don't know how some dudes. I don't got that level game where I could charm a woman out of some money. I'm just trying to get. That's what I'm trying to get down to the bottom of. How did explain the money? Like what? What did he do to get the money about you? That one is always just curious to me. Like you got to have next level pimp game in order to be getting the woman just handing over money like that. I mean, my woman, that's different.
So,
woman, woman. I'm talking about a woman you just started messing with, handing over money. How did that happen? Explain. What did he do? Explain the con. Explain what did he say?
So he started pursuing me for a relationship. And then I asked him, are you married? And actually he said, not anymore. So he's like, all right. I was like, okay, cool. You're divorced. And I actually saw the wedding album actually being ripped. I was like, who did it? He was like, she did it. And so I was like, okay, that's one truth. And then he was like, well, also I am wanting a business. I was trying to create a business. And so I saw that business was established, but whenever I would ask him who was the other party, he would never tell me. But I was like, okay, this is a promising business, which is a home service business, cleaning. And I was already doing that for myself, because I was doing personal coaching, and I clean to help everybody, whatever. So I was like, all right, good. And then I was like, okay, so what are you planning to do? Because he recruited me as a business partner, and vice versa. So we're going to help each other, but mainly I went partnership 50-50 for this particular business. So whenever we needed to have money, first of all, because the business is fairly new, the banks were like, we can't give y'all loans. But
so he got you to invest money in a business that GC, he got you to invest money in a business that wasn't really a business. He kind of took the money and ran. He made it
actually
seem like
not only did he take the money and ran, I took off credit cards, and I
damn, he did Tinder swindler you. That's how he got those.
And not only
he got them to.
I kid you not. This is for business. He went traveling. He went drinking. He went paying for a $5,000 birthday party. Mind you, I didn't even have my birthday party. So he just went. I'm talking like I don't. I'm not a clinical health professional, but I gave him too much ammo. He just abused it. And then the next day he's like, oh, so are you going to yell at me like I'm a child? I was like, I was dealing with somebody who is a child. And it was just a downward spiral. So that's we got how he got me business.
Got you. No, I understand the scheme, the swindle, and how he did it. Use the business as a front. I was supposed to be equal partners, and now the business needed some capital investment, and you invested, and then he took the money. Got it. All right, game changer. You wanted to jump in on something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel kind of bad for what happened in that particular instance. That's like next level swindle. That sucks. But my question for Sandra was, when you say emotionally invested, you're insinuating that if a guy were to go up to certain women and say, listen, all I want you for is sex, I'm not really looking for a relationship right now. Is that okay with you? The answer would be yes. And she would say, many women would say, okay, I know not to get emotionally invested. Is that what I'm getting?
Well, I mean, that would be her choice then, is basically the point I'm making. It's one thing where you go into a situation knowing that sex is all that the person is really interested in, and then you might be able to kind of distance yourself from it, rather than thinking that this person wants something long term when really all they want is sex. So that's more of the point I was trying to get at.
Go into the situation knowing that. Are women far less likely to go into the situation knowing that all a guy wants is sex?
I mean, I guess it just depends on the woman. I mean,
Or the guy,
if
right?
you're seeing a lot of, well, I think nowadays it's more women that are actually wanting to have more casual sex. Just given like what I've seen on social media as far as like, the different videos and posts that you see of like women talking about, their escapades or their hoe phase or hot girl summer. So I mean, they might be more inclined to want to have more casual relationships nowadays as opposed to back in the day when it was a little bit more frowned upon, shamed.
If you were single, would that be what you were looking for?
You're talking about like casual?
Yeah.
No.
So it would be in a guy's best interest if he only had casual interest to lie to you.
Well, yeah, if he was trying to get over on me and try to still get,
And under
relations out
you.
of me without being upfront, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just want to point out the importance of a lie. And I don't really think that it's a lie per se. I think that all guys want sex. That is the truth. And if you just meet a woman, you don't really know if you want to wife her or if you want to girlfriend her. So if you ask just about any guy that just met you under certain circumstances, that's all he wants from you because that's the only thing that he's certain that you have a value. So I don't know if that portion is really a lie per se.
Well, in short, game changer, what it sounds like you more or less saying is that the guy obviously wants casual sex. The
Right.
woman wants more. It's her job once they start having casual sex to show that she's worth more. That's more or less what you're getting at.
Exactly. Exactly. It's her job to show that she has more to offer than the obvious.
Because I don't know of a guy who approaches a woman saying that even communicating either directly or indirectly that I mean I'm sure it happens, but I'm sure it don't happen that much where he's communicating directly or indirectly that I want to have sex with you, typically only in the context of a long-term relationship. No, he's pursuing this woman and he wants to have sex with her. He's ready to go right then. He's ready to go a week from now, a month from now. The guy is ready. There's no such thing as a guy not being ready. The guy is always ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it does come down to a situation where, yeah, it does take some balls out confidence in the guy to just say outright, I want it in this context for this reason. Yeah, people already shouting out Mo one. Shout out to ARC. Shout out to ARC. I saw him in the chat room. Yeah, people already saying Mo one. Yeah, it do take some balls out confidence to just say I want it this way. But I've always said most guys are indirect with it, and this is where I want to go with this now. Where I always said that most women, the guy being indirect lets them say in their mind, oh no, I want a relationship, but they can have the suspension of disbelief. They can just make it, they can use that magical word, oh the vibe was right and it just happened, like they slipped, like a trip fell and landed on the dick, like it's just like y'all,
Exactly.
y'all can be in that, y'all like to be in that vague territory, because if he just upfront, bold, and blunt about it, then you gotta make that tough decision. You gotta make that tough decision. Yeah, women like to just be ride on their emotions and feel it and just let it just sort of happen, not knowing, drawn directly out where they want it to be. That's my thoughts on that. But I'll pass it to Jackie Jack. New on the panel. New on the panel. Shout out to Jackie Jack. Welcome. Okay, you would have some loud background noise, but it was
I'm
impromptu.
yeah, I'm in the car. I put a message down in the chat that I was driving, so it was gonna take me a minute to get a.
Oh, okay. I could have waited for you to get stationary, but I mean, if you're able to talk, go ahead. But then we'll wait for you to get a little stationary. But go ahead.
Yeah. As far as I think the question was, do we want the guy to tell us the truth about having sex? Is that the question?
You could take it. Yeah, I mean, you more or less could take it that way. I mean, I put it out there vague so people to take where they want to go with it. But in general, overall, just yeah. Do women really want a guy to be upfront and tell them the truth? Do they really want it? Can they really deal with the outcomes of if the majority of guys came out and said directly what it is they want, how they want it, when they want it? Can women actually deal with that? Can they deal with finding out like, damn, I not a single person is pursuing me for for an actual date in real for an actual real date? Could they actually deal with that? Do they want that kind of truth?
Okay. I think it depends on the guy.
Boom.
When it comes down to it, there's certain guys that can just say, I want to just have sex with you. And then the woman would be like, okay, I'm down for that. And they won't be offended. But if it's some guy they think it's not that interesting, or they think they're better than them, they're going to be offended. Like, how dare you come to me just asking for sex? Do you know who I am? They're going to be offended if he brings that to them. So I think it depends on who's the guy that's saying it. Because sometimes a certain guy he'll just say, I just want to have sex. And the girl will know up front, and she will still want to try to get him in a relationship.
Yeah, but see, why the fake offended aspect of it? Because I've had this conversation in real time with women. I stopped doing it because it makes no sense to have these conversations in real time. You put an offer on the table, you get the result. The result is the result. Just walk off. Just walk off the stage. It's over. But I ended up having a question because she gave, this was a time when I was real direct about it, and she gave some objectionable reaction, like how dare you, and I'm like, God, I forgot how I worded it. I tried to word it smoothly because I didn't want to come off like I was complaining, but I did. I was looking at hypocrisy right in the face, like, hold on, don't act like you ain't never just got it in fast and quick with a dude. It's just so, I mean, it seems like if women were genuine about it, they would just it would, no matter how direct the dude is, it would always just be a polite no. But it's like they get pissed about it. They get pissed about an offer getting put on the table that in another context with somebody else, or when they in a different mood with a different amount of drinks or a different vibe, they would accept. So why even the fake offended aspect of it?
I mean, it could be different reasons. One reason could be that she had it set up in her mind that it was going to be something different, and then you offered something that she didn't have in her mind. So she might be offended because, like, she put you in a box, and now you're trying to get out of that box. So
Right.
it could be different. It could be different reasons.
Yeah, and that one you gave right there, that's definitely one of the reasons, and that's game for dudes. That's called being incongruent. You start out one way, and then you flip it, and then and then you try to flip that around, and then she don't want to mess with you like that once you try to flip it around. No, that is true. Rod, you ain't said in a minute. You got anything you want to jump in there on?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what was that, Jackie Jack?
Yeah,
What's
Jackie
up?
Jack. Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of they it depends on how. I mean, this is like the age old meme, right? Quote unquote select guy, flirts with them at work, it's cool. A non-select quote unquote flirts with them at work, it's harassment. And it's that same type of deal. Like, depending on how sprung, how tingly they are for the dude, they would even prefer, I think, them to just say, like, let's just do it, But as they go down on that scale, then it becomes more and more disrespectful. The least desirable that man is, the more disrespectful that direct approach could be.
All right. Nice sometimes in the building with the $10 super chat says modern women want one-sided deals, expecting traditional men while she on a date site. yeah, they be on Tinder dropping that that no hookups on a hookup app. Even though, truth be told, those dating apps, it's all over the place. Everybody's on there, so people go in there for whatever reason they want to go on there for. So I ain't tripping on that. But overall, yeah, they do be on that. But shout out to Nice sometimes goes on to say, help me understand why a man should be chivalrous when she obviously talking to multiple men. Men's are woke too. What you mean men's? We put no S at the end of that.
I think you wanted to plural. You wanted to be plural.
Yeah, men is plural, but without the S. Okay.
Yeah, no, you just made a mistake. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no big deal, no big deal. It just reminded me of OGJ Speed. He always say men's. Yeah. Or that guy that said, I don't like men's no more, Anyway, that's what it reminded me.
So, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I'm delivered.
But I mean, as far as like ethical obligations, I don't think that men really should have one, because what Jackie Jack say is true. Like, they treat guys who are exceptionally, let's just say handsome or rich or famous or something like that. They treat exceptional guys a certain way. Now, they won't tell you that. So why should you tell them your true intentions? I mean, do you have a moral obligation to somebody because she's presenting herself as a non-hoe phase person, and she is in a hoe phase for someone else? So are you obligated to her? I mean, because in essence, you are looking for a long-term relationship with someone else. So why do you have a moral obligation to be honest with her? I don't understand that. Like, for the guys who believe that you should be honest for the sake of honesty. And I think that those guys are exceptionally handsome or something like that. But most guys, including myself in most situations, fall in the maybe category when he approach a woman. Maybe I'll have sex with this guy. So he has to use his words and carefully place his words in order to turn that maybe into a definite.
Right. And I definitely agree with Game Changer on that aspect, because, like, if you think about it, back in the days, whenever, people will date, they'll actually say, I'm seeing multiple people. But now, women will like, oh, no, I'm not in that whole phase. Even if they're on the whole phase with somebody else, I'm not dating multiple men. But in reality, whenever it comes to these apps, now women are able to do it behind the scene, or even men sometimes. They're doing it behind the scene, but actually men are more forthcoming and straightforward. Say, look, I just want to bang you, and is that okay? And then if the women say no, they go on to the next one. But women are more likely to lie about everything, especially in this modern age. I think that's why we're having a hard time with men. I'm not going to lie about that. And my significant other, we were actually having this conversation, and he said, like, women only want the truth, so that we have the ability to make a choice after that. Should I stay or should I walk away and leave that situation alone? So I think that's when women actually want the truth, to know if they're just going to stay or if they're going to walk away. But other than that, I think it's a game. It's a game with with each other. So I don't know. It depends on the maturity of the woman and maturity of the man. So yeah.
Right on. All right. Moving on to another topic that we almost kind of segued into. We talked about this on the last stream when that one woman, I forgot her name. I think her name may have been Melody, not Sweet Melody Speaks, but some other melody that was up here. And it prompted Game Changer to break out just went in full nerd mode on us and made a formula. How long you gonna have to wait for the sex or something like that. It was funny, but one thing that I was getting at is that, with the question, does a woman actually respect a man who is willing to wait to have sex per her request? Meaning he was pursuing her for sex. He wanted that sex. But then she tried to pull that bull that you gotta wait for it. We got a 90-day rule or whatever. And I was like, look, any dude who's stopped doing what he was trying to do and start pursuing it the way that she want him to. Like if he gonna, sit, stay, come, go, roll over, play dead, bark, pant, exactly like she want, and then wait however long that time is, 6 months, not 3 months, 9 months, whatever the hell. After all that is said and done, after she done made him roll over and beg, she don't even respect him after that. So the whole notion of women wait, it's like, to me it's a big joke, because in real time, it's going to happen if it's going to happen. She's going to rock with you if you're going to rock with you. But the whole notion of that, when it actually plays out in real time, when all is said and done, in my experience, because I mean I had a simping past once upon a time, and yeah, when you end up waiting that long period of time, you end up with a woman who really don't even respect you like that, probably wouldn't even feeling you like that. So that's my general take on that. But I throw that to Rod first. You got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, bruh. Yeah, now I love this one right here because no, the answer is no. They do not respect you if you wait. I've been in that situation lots of times. Bars, GC, in terms of like most men are in the maybe category, and I've been in that situation where, the chick, identifies. Another category is chicks identify men who like got their shit together. Oh, he got a job. Oh, he got a nice place. Oh, he got a nice car. You don't have to be 6 figures. I know that's the trend now. Most men, if you just got your shit together, women respond, and a lot of times when a woman sees that you have your shit together, they immediately go, "Oh no, I can't just smash him. If I just smash him, he gonna think I'm a hoe." And so they have these long-term goals. Like certain dudes, women will be like, "Yo, nah, this one I'm not gonna mess this up," and they'll try to institute some type of arbitrary waiting period. And I always fight against it, and I always win. And in my experience, I'm just dead ass.
Cut it out. You win some, you lose some.
I have never lost.
No,
I throw down the gauntlet.
Okay, losing means you ain't get it at all. You defining losing as you got it, just it didn't take that long.
I would say losing would be, yeah, you got it, but it didn't take as long. You didn't have to wait as long. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, man, I'm like, every time, and the last one was the most memorable because she was a super attractive woman, and she tried that mess with me, and we would have all our arguments, and she would be like, "You are actually turning me off. I actually don't even want to do." I'm like questioning, should I even be with you? 2 days later, she jumping me, so it's like, no, you stand up for yourself, man. Do not take that shit lying down.
Right on. All right, we're gonna let's go to, well, hold on real quick. We're gonna go to Cold Steel with the $5 super chat. He says, any benefit a man gets by lying to sleep with a woman is negated by the fact that he qualifies himself. Qualifying is proof of lacking confidence. I don't know what you mean by qualifying. Sometimes I get lost in the lingo. Sometimes I get lost in what do you mean?
I think he means that, he's telling his stats. He's, like interviewing, like, I am a doctor. I drive this car. I'm this tall. I mean, I don't really know, because most of it she could see or she's going to ask. So I don't get why he's saying it, but I do get what he means when he says qualifying himself.
All right. All right. That was just that message I just put in the chat room. That was for Ed asking about the link. Yeah, I'll drop the link later in the show. I'm keeping it with the panel that's here right now, but we'll drop the link in. We'll bring somebody up later on in the show. That guy Tobias in the building, he says if he is chasing that her tail on her terms, if he is chasing her tail on her terms, she would not respect him. He is called dinner guy in her phone. Right on. right. Nice sometimes in the building says, Riley, if a woman have a 90-day no sex rule, men should also respond, I have a 90-day. My wallet don't open rule. We go Dutch until she feel comfortable. That's only fair, ladies. Yeah, okay.
Well, I
Go
mean,
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
I don't get the 90-day rule because I would just call on the 90th day. Like once you find out that a 90-day rule is implemented, say you meet a woman on New Year's Eve and she says she has a 90-day rule, you don't have to call her or talk to her until April 1st. Like that's the 90th day, technically. Even though you didn't waste time, energy within that 90 days, it's like, okay, it's 90 days. Let's get it.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think
Hold on real quick.
sorry.
Hold your thought. Al Boogie in the building says honesty is for the guy, GC, not the woman. I was about to get into that.
Mhm.
That it's there are benefits to the guy being upfront and honest, because when you end up getting whatever arrangement you get with that woman, it's the exact arrangement that you negotiated up front. So you 100% free to do what you want to do, how you want to do it, and call the shots because you called them at the start. So that is benefit to being, that's the benefit to being upfront. But the end result is, if it's pussy you're looking for, it's a possibility that you may end up getting less pussy if it's just pussy you're looking for. But thank you, Al Boogie. That is a good point that didn't get brought into the discussion. Brenda, who was that was trying to speak?
Oh no, it was me. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So with not necessarily the 90 days, but I think more than anything, the way I assess guys, if you're upfront and you're coming, you give me that energy, like I'm very dominating, like I will dominate this relationship, in that sense, because like this is what I want. So that tells me that you're pretty firm with what you're going for. But if a guy, simps to try to, play nice or anything like that, he's too passive for me. Maybe it's because I just need to know, like, is this going to be this? But if you lie to just get whatever you want, and then you just up and you start switching up, and then that's when it becomes like, yeah, destructible. And so it just depends. It depends. But to me, ultimately, I think guys are the ones who should be making the moves more than anything. If a girl gives you a 90-day rule, ask why 90 days. Be very intentional. Start pulling some heartstrings to figure out, where is this coming from? Is it because
Pulling
she's
some
seeing other
heartstrings.
women? You got to pull some heartstrings, because like the 90 days doesn't just exist. There has to be a reason why it's existing, especially for a female, for a woman. And so I
Yeah, I
would
still don't know
encourage
what you,
guys to kind of,
I
still
didn't
don't know what
pull
you mean by pull
heartstrings.
some by pull. Yeah, I mean, I'm just,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
nah, I
yeah.
was
Hold
like,
on, wait.
yo,
You're talking to men who has defeated the so-called 90-day rule, and
Yeah.
pulling heartstrings wouldn't it? It goes back to what I said about that damn vibe. That's if the
Yeah.
vibe is right, that's the magical word that make y'all break all y'all little rules. If the
Hmm.
if the vibe is right, if you just feeling it or whatever. But low in theory in the building, he says use goods usually spoil before 90 days. And also
bars.
shout out shout out to author Alan Roger Curry.
Salute.
Says says Bernard Riley is trying his best not to promote my book up front and straightforward. Let the manipulative game players know what you're really thinking. LOL. You know I wouldn't play
Hmm.
you like that, ARC. I shouted you out earlier, but yes. The title and ARC messing with me because I'm on record saying it's hard to have a lot of these conversations without shouting out Alan Roger Curry's book, The Possibility of Sex,
The
and
GOAT.
Mode One. Is very difficult. Even the beta male revolution, some of the time when we take giving social commentary on this stuff, and not just talking directly about dating and mating, but when we giving larger social commentary, it's hard to have a conversation without at least indirectly referring to the beta male revolution. But I got your back, ARC. I got your back on that. But yeah, no, shout out to I was about to say shout out to The Possibility of Sex, but I gotta make sure I include his name in it. Don't want to spark that. Shout out
That's
to
right.
author Alan Roger Curry, the author of The Possibility of Sex.
Thank you.
Gotta
Thank you very much.
make sure we get it exactly right. I don't want ARC pulling up on me. But Fetty in the building, he says they want you to tell Okay, I'm sorry, my eyes vision get blurry. They want you to lie so they can have plausible deniability when things go south. The truth gives them the burden of responsibility, and they hate it. That is some facts. All right, all right. I forgot where was we at. Oh, I asked the other question. I asked the fresh question that I will throw to let's see. I'm gonna go to Sandra with this one. The other question that I asked: do women actually respect the man who is willing to wait to have sex per her request? He was trying to get it earlier. You said no. You know you want to do it under this time frame, this time restraint. You made him wait, and he went on through it your program. He followed your lead. Do you really respect him after that?
Well, I mean, I guess it just depends on the factors surrounding it. Because it
Mm,
could be a situation of a woman that just doesn't want to have a high body count. Okay. Because if you don't want to have a high body count, you're not going to go around sleeping with whoever is interested in you or, just right off the bat if you're not trying to get to a certain body count as far as people you've been with. But I would say that if it's a situation where she's telling you when it's going to happen, she's dictating other areas of the relationship, then yeah, she probably doesn't respect you. But if it's just someone who doesn't want to have a very high body count and they're trying to make sure that the relationship is deeper than just sex, then it might not be a situation of testing respect, but rather testing attraction or interest.
all right, and it sounds like you're like I said before. You in the ghetto part of China where the the Wi-Fi is bad. So
It's the
yeah, it was
VPN. It is the VPN,
yeah. You
y'all.
you you was Borging a little bit, but we got it. We understood what you're saying. And moderator, oh yeah, I see RM down there. Moderators, drop the link to ARC's books, particularly the possibility of sex. That's my favorite one. So drop
Me
the drop
too.
the yeah drop the link to ARC's books because like I said, it's hard to have some of these conversations without shouting them out. So we're gonna give ARC his respect and drop the link to his books in the chat room. Those books, it's the best book written on this subject matter, this topic that we have. And so yeah, RM already on it, dropping that in the chat. And everybody who's on the panel, I know well Jackie Jack and Brenda, they don't exactly have a channel, but everybody else get their links floating out there through the chat room. I appreciate that. All right, we going to game. Well, hold on. You know what? We're going to go a different route because Sandra said something about a woman wanting to keep her body count low. And Game Changer, you had an interesting take on that. On the not the last show, probably show before last. You so you can go ahead and respond to that one.
Yeah, just simply put, I don't really care about a woman's body count, nor do I think that men should care about a woman's body count. It's
Why you
not.
why you advocating? You're advocating for hoes. That's feminist.
Well, no, I'm advocating for men. Like, if you want to be a body on our count, then I'm advocating for you. So yeah, it's that's just the lifestyle. Now, as far
Mm.
as what she was saying about that being the reason, I don't think that that's the primary reason. And well, that may be the primary reason for you, Sandra, but I really don't think that women understand that it puts men, particularly men who don't have many options, in a lose-lose situation. Because what it's saying, and I think that this is why a lot of women do it, is she wants to know if she has that ultimate leverage. Listen, the only guy who will go for something like that and continue to pursue during those 90 days are guys that can't find anybody else to have sex with within those 3 months. Those are the only guys. Now, once a woman realizes that she's the only woman on the planet that'll fuck him, she knows that she has ultimate sexual leverage over him. And though she welcomes the security that that brings to the relationship for her, she don't respect the fact that she's the only woman on the planet that will fuck him. In fact, she kind of feels less about herself and him. Because what does that say? That you're the only woman on the planet that'll stoop that low within this 30-day period. It's yeah. So And that's if he waits. She has that view of him. If he don't wait, I mean, it's a lose-lose. If he don't wait, she could say, "Oh, my body count, my body count, my body count," and leave. So she puts everybody in a lose-lose situation by doing that.
Well, in regards to that, I would say that, during that time period where, she's making you wait, if she's having other behaviors that give you red flags on the relationship, you should be willing and able to walk away from it. Now, if you are somebody that is desperate and you're just like, oh, I have to stay here because I need the lady box, then yeah, she's not going to respect you. But if you are man enough to be able to be like, look, I'm not going to sit here and tolerate BS and be able to walk away, then I don't think your respect levels would necessarily deplete just based on that fact alone. I feel like there would have to be other factors
My point
to
is that
create a
you're forcing him to
situation
choose.
where
You're forcing him to choose between
the
sex.
woman's respect for the man is less.
You're forcing him to choose between sex or respect is what I'm saying, because you're saying that at that point the only way you'll respect him is if he leaves. So no matter what, like relationships can't a relationship of mutual respect can't begin under those circumstances. The only way you will respect him is if he leaves. See, I mean,
That's not
break that.
necessarily what I was saying. I'm not saying he has to leave for you to respect him. He has to be willing to leave if you're not fulfilling your duties in that relationship in other areas. So if you're disrespecting him in public, if you're disrespecting him in private, if you're doing different behaviors that are red flags in the relationship, he has to
That
be
is
willing to leave based on those things happening and not
that is
stick
a red flag.
around despite the disrespect because he wants to get between your legs. If
That
that's the
that is
case, then
that is a
yeah,
red
you would
flag
lose
though.
respect for him.
Well, you say disrespect in private. I'm saying that is disrespect in private. Not fucking me is disrespectful. So that is the red flag. That is the first red flag that he should leave. And if he don't leave, it starts the pattern. Like he ignored the first red flag.
Well, I would say, and this kind of goes back to something you said earlier, I
Wait,
would say that body count and then how you carry yourself sexually does matter. Because
mhm.
when you're dealing with people and they're just kind of loose with it, that opens you up for so many different things, so many different diseases, the possibility of pregnancies, also, your ability to pair bond. All these different things kind of go down the drain when you're just kind of letting it loose with whoever. And so when we talk about, oh, it's disrespectful to not have sex with him, I would say it just depends on how you're going about it. Because if you're just a person who doesn't want to, and I understand that this might be not as many people in the society like that right now, given whole culture. But if you are one of those people that just doesn't want to go around spreading your legs to everybody, I don't think that that's inherently disrespectful. Now, if this
No,
woman was going around home with everybody else and just for you, she doesn't want to open her legs, then yeah, there's an issue. There's a point of contention there. I understand that.
no,
But
no,
if
All
that's
right,
this
not.
well,
woman
hold on, wait,
doesn't
hold
have
on.
a
Let me
history of
hold
doing
on
those
real.
things,
Well, that's not.
Well, real quick. Let me make sure. Let me make sure I say this. Like when Sandra, when you added the factor of a woman disrespecting a dude while holding out on him, but disrespecting him in other ways other than holding out on him, we'll circle back to that. Whether or not that's disrespecting that, I'll pass it back to Game Changer on that one. When you throw in that factor, I think everybody can agree that a dude is on some goofball stuff right there. If he's
Right.
tolerating disrespect, just hanging on for the possibility of some sex, 87 days down the road. Like, no, we everybody generally agrees that's the problem. It's but the
No,
thing, the
no.
game changer, the thing. Hold on, wait, no, I'm about to throw it back to you because you said something that I never heard nobody actually put it that way, where you said that her simply not having sex with you is disrespecting you. Explain that one.
I most certainly will. So,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that women should just bust it open, except to me. But what I am saying is that it becomes disrespectful to a certain extent if she has a 90-day rule. You see, when the chemistry is right, the chemistry is right. And that's when women normally act on their impulses, and men, if given the opportunity, act on his impulses. If she do not act on her impulse at that time because of a 90-day rule, that is disrespectful. Like, and we all know it's not just the fact that she has a set amount of time is disrespectful, given that the circumstances is right and everything is right. You're feeling each other, and it's like the movies. The eyes meet, and everything just works out perfectly, whether it happens in the first week or the fifth week or something like that. And then she just says, "Oh no, 90-day rules. You gotta wait. Here's some lotion." That portion is disrespectful. You know, if the chemistry is right on the 89th day and she says, okay, tomorrow, that's disrespectful. Who wants to live like that? Like, I mean, who wants to marry a chick like that who has such rigid guidelines? Oh, only on Tuesday and Thursday between 9 and midnight. And then one day you try to get some on Thursday and she says 12:01. Like, who wants to deal with crap like that? It's disrespectful, and it's going to be a pattern of behavior.
All right.
You disrespect yourself by signing on to it. You by saying, this is, a 90-day rule. I know you want something, and you will get it under my terms.
And by any chance, is this hypothetical, woman or man, is it more y'all in a relationship, right? Game changer? And then she's holding out for 90 days?
No. I think the 90-day rule applies from the moment you meet a person or first date a person.
Right. And I think the way you described it being disrespectful coming from women, because the women are the ones who, we give access to sex, and so if we're holding out, it is disrespectful because there's a certain expectation that the guy is going for. But if we're holding out, and it's like a boundary, if you're crossing that boundary, not giving it to him, that's disrespect. And the question goes back to the woman, like, as I said, pulling heartstrings.
Nobody still knows what you're talking about on that.
I know.
I think what you're saying is
of the pair bonding and stuff like that. Intentionality of the relationship.
If you're talking about accelerating the process, that ain't called pulling heartstrings. In most cases, in experience, it just comes down to it ain't pulling heartstrings. It's more of you just seduction is, I think, what you're talking about.
Okay.
Seducing her. I think that's more so what you're talking about. Seduction will accelerate the process. But go ahead, you can finish up. Then I want to
and
so talk to Jackie Jack and Rada God. Go ahead.
Right. The seduction aspect. And so Game Changer said, like, if she's holding out on sex, she's more likely to hold out on other things, or this pattern of behavior will continue. And so if you found her like that, she will continue in that aspect. But I think ultimately, with women, we'll give access to certain guys, as somebody over here is saying. Like, women will always drop for the top athlete, somebody with resources and stuff like that. So it depends. But it's disrespectful for that conversation.
All right. Jackie, well, hold on, Jackie Jack. You normally agree with the fellas, but I think you might go the opposite way on this one. Is it disrespectful of you to hold back the what did somebody call it earlier? Lady box? What did somebody say? Was that you, Sandra?
Yeah, she said
lady box. So is it disrespectful for you to hold back the lady box and don't drive through an intersection while you answering this question?
Is it disrespectful? Well, to me, it's only disrespectful if you're taking up their time. If you're going on dates with a bunch of dates with them, taking up a lot of their time, then it's disrespectful. And that's how I feel about it. And as far as holding out for sex, and if the woman will respect you afterwards, what I've noticed is the only women that really respect you for holding out on sex and you letting it happen is virgins. Those are the only women I know that if they have the power to like have you holding out for 90 days and they still respect you, it's only virgins that's gonna really respect that, because another one, most women know what they're doing. So it's like it's an element of this guy has, I'm in control a little too much. Like when you're dating a guy and you're into him, you have sex with, if you want to have sex with him, you kind of want to lose a little control, but putting the 90-day rule on it is like, oh, I'm the one that's pulling all the strings in this situation. You're not gonna respect him.
Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Tobert in the chat, says she get 30 calendar days. See, my shout out to you. I'm not even about to get into that. I was going to end up saying something personal that I don't feel like getting into right now. But Nelly Nell in the building with the $5 super chat. He says, I'm an actor in LA and used to live with pro athletes. Put a high status man in front of a woman and 99% will buckle and spread the peanut butter. Spread the peanut butter. That's a new one. Okay. GC is 100% correct. If is going, come on, y'all gotta, I already be damn near hooked on phonics, and then y'all word the sentence wrong. Like y'all really just doing me wrong. Like, okay, GC is correct. If is going in to a potential relationship having already weaponized sex, there is no way for a man to dig his way out of that. Yeah. It's truth in that. It's truth in that if she's weaponizing the sex and calling and dictating the terms and conditions early on, it's likely she's going to be dictating, trying to dictate stuff during the relationship. I think I missed another.
She's dictating when you dictates. I mean, and yeah, you can't have that.
Dictate what you dictate. All right. Rod, what you
My bad, bro.
No,
you know I'm multitasking, so can you repeat the question?
I forgot where we was at. Okay, I'd asked that one
after because of the 90-day rule.
Well, that wasn't exactly it. No, I like the way you put it, because you put it away. I never heard, through all these conversations, never heard nobody put it the way Game Changer said. A Game Changer said it's disrespectful for her to be withholding the vag from you.
Okay. Is it disrespectful for her to withhold the vag? No, it's not. It depends on the woman in the situation. If it's a woman who this is the way she rolls, like, you got me messed up. Where that woman exists, I don't know her. I've never, I've heard reports, but they're unconfirmed. It's like UFOs. Women are not like that in modern day and age. Women, get it in, and usually they're imposing some type of time waiting period. It's in my experience, it's been because they have identified you as somebody who they want to have a long-term relationship with, and they think that if they do that, then that will increase the chances of it going longer and you not immediately walking away from them. It could also be women who don't have very good lady box, but that's a different topic. But it's like, if a woman puts that type of waiting period on it, it can be disrespectful in terms of if she's just trying to assert it onto you. A lot of women think, oh, he's a good guy, I don't want to do it first night, second night, so I'm going to make him wait a little bit. But they don't understand that is disrespectful to that man if you did not do that with lesser men. If he's a better man and now you want to make him wait to create this false perception that you're this pious good girl, but meanwhile, you've had a whole phase in your life. No, so it's disrespectful to any woman who's ever had it. If it's disrespectful to any man if it's coming from a woman who has ever had a whole phase.
All right, interesting. Real quick, Sandra, I don't know if the moderators are dropping your link, so I was gonna help you out and drop your link, but I went to your page and I'm looking at this. I don't know if y'all could see that, but damn, y'all can't see it. Y'all can't see it like I could see it. But I'm looking at that. Y'all can't tell. Like, who is you mean mugging in this picture?
Somebody that's trying to have sex with her before 90 days.
Like, you is straight.
That's my logo.
Try to get this box before 90 days. That's what you
No, that's my logo because someone told me I don't smile enough, and so
you just leaned into it. You gonna I'll show you. She just said, forget that. Like, y'all can't really tell until you actually go to the page. You can't see y'all y'all can't see the wrinkles right there. Like it's balled up right there, like right between the eyebrows. It's like yeah, she mugging hard on that. But anyway, yeah, moderators, everybody on the panel who has a channel, that's Game Changer, Rod and Sandra, drop their links into the chat room. I know y'all been doing it with Game Changer. I don't know if y'all been I haven't seen it. That's Sandra's right there, just in case y'all didn't have it, because she's relatively new around here. Nice Sometimes in the building says, should a woman who's celibate be dating? Is a celibate woman fair exchange in a dating market? Game Changer, you could take that one real quick.
For the woman who's celibate be dating, is celibate women fair exchange in the dating market? Well, there's celibate, and then there's like actual virgins and people like that. I don't really think that it's right for a woman to just all of a sudden say I'm celibate. I mean, for one, they never really are. Like somebody said, if they meet that exceptional athlete, exceptional rich, famous, what's the other one, or a handsome person, they probably won't be as celibate for him as they. I mean, basically, most of the time, celibacy is just a woman trying to sell a used car as a new car. So, and that's not a good buy for the guy.
You said a guy getting a celibate woman is not a good buy. Well, I'm sorry. What I'm
saying is, when a woman is celibate and she's not a virgin, or she.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
She's trying to sell a used car as a new car.
Gotcha. All right. I'm gonna skip that question and probably come back to it. I'm gonna go a whole different direction, a more controversial angle with this thing, and this is sort of on the heels of the whole situation with Tommy Sotomayor, when a chick kind of two-pieced him up real quick. And just a real quick go around the table panel question.
Can I respond? Because Jade said people are buying used cars every day. LOL. Yes, but they know it's used, and they're paying a used car price. See, they're not paying a new car price for a used car. That's just not how it works. I mean, when you're celibate, you're asking a guy to treat you as if you are a virgin, which is a completely different treatment. For a woman who is not a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that you're paying more than the last guy that she smashed. A lot more.
All right. The question that I was throwing out there, like I was saying, this question is coming on the heels of the whole Tommy Sotomayor incident. This is real simple. If a woman hits a man, is it absolutely okay for him to hit her back? And I'm talking full bus driver, uppercut, Shoryuken, the whole Megillah. Is it absolutely okay? Going around the all right, Rod gave a fast, quick, easy.
Yes.
That's the law. The law is, you don't have to let anybody just assault you. You can defend yourself.
All right. Game Changer.
Well, I would say yes also. However, personally, I would restrain from full force.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with it. And I don't say that to virtue signal or sound like genuinely the good guy. No, but listen, I have zero criticism for the guy who goes all in that situation. I have zero criticism. It's just I personally try to avoid doing it. I've dodged some windmill punches and spun her around with a bear hug and then found somewhere to soft to throw her and then walked out.
It doesn't matter.
Either way, I know.
Either way, you will be accused of being a woman beater. I've done that. I've restrained, and it's like, oh my God, you put your hands on me. So it's like, bruh, there is no winning. You might as well defend yourself.
That's no argument for me. But
well, there's defense, and then there's just Mike Tyson, the chick, and
hell nah, yeah.
But it will be met with greater than or equal to force. than her initial hit.
Yeah,
because it's a
yeah.
deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I could like hard like punch a woman like closed fist down. Nah, even if she hit me, but I'll push, restrain, and it slap. I would. Yeah, I haven't done that before, but I mean, I could defend myself if I'm being attacked.
Yeah, a well-placed body blow don't leave a mark. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. All right, I heard some of the women say yes. Let's go start with Jackie Jack, and then Jackie Jack, Brendan, and Sandra. Just real quick, go.
I said yes.
You said yes, it's okay. Brenda, what do you say?
I said yes, of course.
Well, I mean, yeah, you from Africa. I know they be They... All right, Sandra, what'd you say?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an easy yes. I
Okay.
just think that the justice system and the police and all that stuff, they need to be on board with holding women accountable when they're violent to men. Because like you guys said, you want to avoid getting physical because at the end of the day, you're gonna look like the aggressor, even if she is the aggressor. So I just think that the court system, legal system needs to reflect that idea of us being equal.
Why is Al Boogie saying
Now-
that I'm smoking weed?
Yeah, he didn't charge you up with smoking weed twice. Like, what's
that
up
what
with
that
that?
is?
You,
I'm not smoking, bro.
That's
why do
crazy.
he think you smoking? Have you like blazed up on one of your live streams
Never.
before? Like,
Never.
yeah, I don't know what made him say that about you. That was out of nowhere. But anyway, shout out to Al Boogie. Appreciate the $2 super chat. He says, "As Rod, is it Dutch Masters or White Owl?"
Salute Al.
Yeah. But all right, no, I'm glad everybody agree on that. That's where it needs to go. Even if men restrain themselves, women need to fully understand what's possible. They need to fully 100% understand that it ain't no being the victim after you get uppercut to the damn, like, you going to jail now. That damn bus driver uppercut. Yeah, when they need to understand that bus driver uppercuts are on the table, and even if the dude is choosing to restrain. But
Now I wanna point out like this. I want to give a shout out to Officer Kroger. He was the one. It was a moment of pride because there was an episode of Cheaters where the woman she slapped the man and she was like, "Oh, you cheated on me," and she slapped him. And then Officer Kroger, I looked at his name on the thing, came and arrested her. And she said, "No, but he cheated on me." Or, she basically was saying no, because I'm a woman and I have the right to soap opera slap him because, this is a situation where he cheated on me and got caught. And, even though the guy didn't press charges, I think this was in Texas because that's where treaters take place. He arrested her. So salute to him. Salute to him. That was a moment of pride. And this was years ago. This was with the original Cheaters. So this was years ago. It was a moment of pride. I think that every man, was happy to live in the home of the brave when that happened.
you know what? Movies and soap operas normalize women slapping men
Yes, it
to
does.
the point where it's like, no
Yep.
matter what he said something that wasn't right. Even in that, nothing even as extreme as cheating. Just he said something that disappointed her, and she slaps him, and that's been okay. That's been okay on daytime television, 12 noon. With that's crazy that's okay. Like you couldn't almost imagine the opposite. A woman just said something that just upset a man a little bit, and he just just like nah, unheard of. But all right. I'm glad everybody agreeing on that one. I'm glad it's moving.
Yeah, and
in
to
that.
add on to
Go
that,
ahead.
I think one thing that women forget is the fact that you can provoke it. I saw I saw the episode. I was watching it live and then I had to do something. And so I didn't see the whole ending, except my significant other, he was watching it and then he kind of told me about it. And then I saw the video after because I had to take it down. And so she was provoking him and he was just like, poking a tiger just to see what the tiger is going to do. She knew what she was doing. And that's the funny thing. Women know what they're doing, but I don't know if women know what sense of danger is, because you're messing with a man. He can literally destroy you. I don't care who you are, but men and women are different, but men tend to have more strength. And yes, they should be more resistant. But at the end of the day, if you poke and then you hit, fight or flight, he will hit you back. And so the question becomes, whose fault is it? And so who poked the tiger? And later on, in the Fresh and Fit podcast, there were some women who came and said, oh, it's his fault. He should have restrained himself, especially as a Black man. But at the end of the day, what they were actually not wanting to acknowledge is the woman's fault. Like, she knew what she was doing and she kept on going and kept on going. So it was just a matter of fact of what was going to happen. She was even the producer tried to talk to her, hey, let's get out of here, because the producer knows, okay, if it escalates, all right, let me get her out. But she didn't. She kept on running towards the danger. And so at the end of the day, should a man hit back? Absolutely. So, because she ran towards the danger. And so instead of actually stepping away, she should have actually walked away if she was actually that agitated. But she was asking for it, so she got it, if anything. So yeah.
All right. Right on. Let's okay. In this one, this has been a somewhat reoccurring thing on this show to some degree. In this modern era of both men and women working, how do we define a man being a provider? In this modern era of both men and women working, how do we define a man being a provider? Let's start with Rod on that one.
Yeah, bro. I mean, the most peculiar thing about this space, and not just the manosphere, but just like online kind of relationship talk in general, is all this this definition of providing. Because in real life, every long-term couple I know, every married couple I know, both of them work, both of them pay their bills, both of them are saving and investing their money together as a unit. Recall, that is what the Bible, tells us, in terms of you're married to this person. So now it's all everything that comes into that house, you're a unit. You're not two individuals. I don't know people who actually, that's a lie. I have a very close relative who's a woman, and she's a Black woman who actually divides the bills down the line with her husband and pockets her own money in her account and his money in his account. That Black couple is the only Black couple I know like that, and the only couple I know that does that. Everyone else, even if they have separate accounts, they have a joint account where all the money is going, or the bulk of the money is going to pay the bills and things like that. So it's just this whole idea when I was married, my wife was a stay-at-home wife and then mom. But that is unusual, and it's not even necessary. And once my son got to school age, that probably even would have stopped, right? Because it doesn't make any sense. You can go out and make some money that we can invest, whatever. So I think that the way a man provides is that he's already has his own before he gets with that woman, and then she can either move in with him and they build from there, or they can go and buy a home and move in there and build from there. But it's just to have your own, in my opinion.
All right. We go into Game Changer on that one.
Yeah, that's a difficult question, and because basically, if you want a traditional relationship, then you are putting yourself in a position to where you're losing a significant income, even if even if her earning potential is 30K, after 4 years, that's 120K that you're not getting into your household that you probably would want. So it is a difficult situation, but I would say that a man that takes care of the majority or the bulk load of the household expenses would be considered a provider.
Okay. All right. Let's start with
But there's so many men who like. What men do you know who do that? Like, there's so many out of all the married people you know and all the couples that you know. Like, do you know anybody who is like the man is providing most of the expenses, and then the woman is like keeping most of the money to herself, or is it usually that they're splitting it down the middle?
Well, the ones I know, and I don't really dig into the finance, but the married couples I know, the man makes the most money. Not really sure how they divide it, but I do know people, even, and I don't want to, say it like this, but I do know people who aren't really balling like you would expect, who and their wife is stay-at-home wives. I'm talking about, like, 40 to 50K dudes.
That was me.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I do know that those situations exist.
Mm-hmm.
But now, as far as when both people are working, I don't know how they divide the funds. I would like to think that it's like that young couple where her paycheck is direct deposited to him, and he gives her an allowance. I think that that's a very effective way.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna, I guess, start with Brenda. Say your last name again.
Muema.
Muema. All right, we're gonna start with Brenda Muema. I think I said it right, and go
Yes.
through Brenda, Jackie, Jack, and Sandra. Go ahead.
All right. So the way I actually define provider male, and the way I look for them is a male who carries a lot of people under his belt, meaning, and not only people, a lot of duties and obligations. Like, this guy has to work, not because he has to, but if he doesn't work, everything comes down. Like, whoever he's carrying, whether it's his significant other, his kids, his family, etc. And so these guys are actually, I found out they're wired like that. They're just worker bees, and so work ethic is incredibly strong within them. And so when I'm looking for that provider male, I'm looking at, is he able to carry me? Because I traditionally speaking, because I am from Kenya, traditionally speaking, my dad is a provider male. He carries everybody and some people back at home. And so, and if he stops working, it's hard. It's hard on a lot of people. So he has to keep on going. And so in America, I see it that it's kind of defined a little bit differently. Whenever they're like, oh, if you want a traditional man, then you have to be a stay-at-home wife or whatever. But ultimately, it just comes down to, yeah, what Game Changer said. He's carrying the majority of the finances, or he's bringing the most in, while the wife it can work, but she's not really carrying most of the bills. And so I think with provider male, I would just define it as somebody who's carrying a lot of people under his belt. And if he messes up, the whole kingdom kind of falls. And so,
All right, Jackie Jack, go ahead. You got it.
Okay, so as far as the question, it's in regards to like modern times, a provider.
Yeah, no, the question is specifically about these modern times in this modern era when women are just as employed as men. I'll restate the question exactly as I wrote it. In this modern era of both men and women working, how do you define a man being a provider?
Okay, I got it. I would define it as a man that brings something that you can't provide for yourself. So it could be he's paying all the bills and you don't have to pay bills, but it could be structure, it could be like intelligence or something.
Well,
So I think
Becky,
yes.
could it be penis? That's something you can't provide yourself, right?
I mean, they got those toys out there, don't they?
Oh yeah, that's true. Stay away from the rose. But yeah,
But
We
yeah.
talked on the last show about those ones with the car battery connected to it that kill all the. Anyway, never mind.
No, the car engine. But no, the
Engine.
rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, the electrodes, the magnetics.
Yeah, the electromagnetic field. Exactly.
Yeah, I wasn't.
All right, go ahead, Jackie Jack.
But yeah, so just he provides something that you can't provide for yourself. Like, there's a lot of women are talking about protection and like not having protection. So he would provide protection. Uh, a guy can a guy is more stable in their emotions, so he's a rock when you're emotional. So he provides like more than just finances in modern times because we're all making money. We all have to work. So it's the other things he put on that makes him a provider.
All right, Sandra, what you got on this one?
I have to agree with Jackie. Providing is far greater than just finances. Because I mean, even with my parents, both my parents worked. My dad did make more money than my mom, so he did take on more of the like heftier bills, while my mom took care of more of the smaller bills. And so that didn't negate the fact that my dad was a provider, because he provided not only financially, provided security, safety, emotional stability, just overall kept the home in order. So providing goes way beyond just finances. So any person that's kind of like diminishing the role of man because they're working is not seeing the full picture of what men provide.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. Everybody seems to generally agree on that. I didn't do a good job putting together the panel. I wanted at least one of the women to say, if you ain't paying 100% of the bills, you ain't doing shit. I was waiting. That's what I wanted that to happen so we can get a good good debate going. But no, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool if everybody agree. We can keep it moving. We can keep it moving on this one. But all right. Now, this last question. This is a complex question. I think this is the last one. Well, I kind of bounced around, skipped around on some of my questions, but this was a complex one. I hope I typed it out right. All right, let me just read it. When a man cheats, do women get more upset by the simple fact that he had sex with someone else? I'm talking about just the physical act of sex, just the mere fact that he was bumping uglies with somebody else. Do they get more upset? Do they get okay? Let me tell you that. Do women get more upset by the simple fact that he had sex with someone else, or are they more, emphasis on more bothered by the fear that he will leave them for that woman that he cheated with, and or do they get more upset by the potential of losing the resources and benefits of everything essentially non-sexual that comes with being with that man? That's the question that I'm throwing out there. Hopefully I understood it. It was a long
Yeah.
question, but hopefully I got it. I'm gonna start down at the bottom. Woke Quill, next time I will do that. I will put the question on the screen. The questions on the screen. I probably can do that right now. I think I got enough skills to do it on the fly real quick. But I'm gonna start with Sandra, because that's a complex question that I do want to be on the screen during the conversation. So go ahead, Sandra, you got it.
I guess it just depends on if this woman is actually interested in the man himself, or if she's just there for the resources. Because if you are genuinely in love with this person, you care about them, you're going to be upset at the fact that there was a break in trust. But if you're only there for the resources, if you're only there for the non-sexual, non-emotional type of things, then yeah, you're going to be upset because you're thinking that this man might be giving those resources to someone else, might be thinking about dropping you to give resources to someone else. So it really depends on why she's in the relationship. If she's in the relationship for you, then she's going to be upset at the act itself. But if she's in it just for the transactional, like finances and status or things like that, then that's the reason why she might be upset.
All right. I don't know if Jackie Jack heard the question, and damn it, I can't put that on the screen because there's too many characters in that question. So I can't even put that on the screen. But I'll repeat the question again for Jackie Jack because I don't think she heard it. When a man cheats, do women get more upset by the simple fact that he had sex with someone else, or are they more upset or bothered by the simple fear that they will lose that man, and by extension lose the resources, and all the benefits and everything non-sexual that comes with having that man? Oh, and I repeated it, and Jackie Jack is not there or is not ready. Hopefully she heard it, but go ahead, Brenda, you can answer it.
Yeah, as you said, it's a complex thing, but I because women, we rule with emotions, so there's a lot going on. But ultimately, I think whenever it comes to women getting upset about the cheating, the first question, in my opinion, women will ask themselves, what does she have that I don't have? What is it that he's lacking? You know, that he has to go out and step out. What am I doing? Or um, what is it that I have done to make him just, kind of disappear? And so now after that, now it kind of comes back to, if she doesn't want to really look inward, she will just look at outwardly. Okay, why am I in this relationship? As I forgot her, as Sandra said, like if she's not really emotionally attached to him, she's there for resources. In my opinion, she may not care. She's just trying to, those resources might be threatened. So now that's why she's upset. Like, look, I know you have money, da da da, but he might end up leaving me, and so now there goes all the resources that I acquired through him. So that's another threat. I think it's just a lot of threats depending on different type of women, and why they're in that relationship for. And so that's my opinion. So I think it just depends individually on a woman with that person, with that man that she's dating or
Okay,
married to.
so if I got your answer right, you're saying it could go either way. It just depends individually on that woman, more or less. Okay, all right. My
What
my
kind of
take on
security
it
she's
before.
looking for.
Yeah, my take on it before I pass it to Game Changer and Rod on this one. I think men more likely look at it from the perspective of it's just the physical act of sex. The mere fact that you did it, the mere fact that somebody else's dick was in your pussy. That's it. Just the fact that that happened, the physical act of sex. And I actually talked to my woman about this, and she was reluctant about it, but I got her to basically admit that it's not as much the physical act of me having sex with somebody else. It's the potential of losing me. It's the potential of losing everything that comes with being in a relationship with me that she's more concerned about than just the physical act that me and somebody else was just naked going back and forth for 5, 10, I mean 50 minutes. So that's more so what she ain't concerned about that part. She ain't concerned. She is, but she's not. It's more about losing. It's more about losing me. Is that what she's concerned about? And then not just like losing somebody who's paying her bills or this or that. It wasn't even about that. It was about just losing this man. She's scared that this other woman is going to pull this man away from her, and then everything that makes her feel good and wonderful about being with me and being in a relationship with me, all of that's going to be gone and lost forever. That's her concern. But for men, it's different. It's just our mind just goes to the physical act of sex. You mean to you was bent over naked for another man. It's like that alone. We ain't worried about him. We not worried about him fulfilling all the other emotional stuff, the non-sexual stuff, that ain't even our concern. It's just that physical act took place, and that's the problem. But for women, I think it's more so it's all the other stuff that they worried about losing. But I will take that and I'll throw it to I go to Game Changer first, then Rod.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely agree with you, Bernard, that cheating is worse when women do it, and I think that really women respond to a man cheating the way society tells them that they should respond, far too often. I don't really think that it's as big of a deal were society not telling them that it was this egregious thing. To a woman individually. I mean, it's really, yeah. There's a fear that a man would leave, but generally, men don't leave women for side pieces because the purpose of a side piece is sex, and he already has that.
It's to be on the side.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So he already has that. Why would he leave? He would essentially be leaving his, like that waiting to exhale scenario. And I was talking to a woman about this before. That waiting to exhale scenario where he had Angela Bassett and the two kids and everything, and he left the side piece and broke up the family. That doesn't really happen because it doesn't make sense. He already has her. Like what did he gain in that scenario? He lost a cohesive family, but what did he gain? So men generally don't do that. And I think on some instinctual level, women know that. They know that men aren't really going to leave for sex alone. They know that it took more than sex for them to secure the relationship with him. He didn't wipe you because the box was good. So they know that. And if they're secure in a relationship, they really wouldn't let that interfere with it. Now, as far as the resource aspects of the question goes, I think that only in a case where it's an extraordinary percentage of the household income, or he's spending more on her than on his side piece than he is on the family, or if the family is somehow being neglected as a result of it. Like, one of the kids needs braces, but his side piece needs a bracelet. Like then he's just that. I think that things like that will come into play if he's being irresponsible to the family for his own lust and desire. I think that is definitely a bad reflection on him. However, I'm a person with exceptionally extraordinary high income, to where he can have a side piece. He has his house on the hills, and she lives in one of his many condos that he owns. I don't think that she would care at that point.
Rod of God, what you got?
Yeah, I was actually going to I'm going to take a different spin on it. My bad, I'm working and I'm getting called. But so like there are women out there, a lot of the modern women are very masculine, right? And they have taken on a kind of man's reaction to cheating. And so I actually think that the way women look at cheating now is the way men have always looked at cheating. Like it's it's an encroachment on their territory. Like for instance, Brittany Renner, right? Every interview she's doing, he cheated on me, he cheated on me. I mean, it's like, bruh, you are married to a highly sought after man. But like the modern woman in her mind is like she can't wrap her mind around the fact her ego is so masculine that the fact that he would cheat on her, she's like, but I'm the man. How you gonna leave this good eggplant? Like that's my opinion of why they get mad about it.
All right, Game Changer, you said something interesting. You said that you think society has conditioned women to be more upset about cheating. That
Yeah.
Expand that one. Then I do want to throw that to the women on the panel.
Well, I don't, and of course I wasn't there, but I don't think that women were always this mad. I don't think that it was always a deal breaker for a guy to cheat, or a guy to have multiple lovers or something like that. For example, I'm with someone who is, well, she's younger, so I guess she classifies as a modern woman. However, her mother is her father's second wife in the sense that he's a polygamist. He has two wives. Um, but she is against that type of thing for herself, even though it brought her the happy large family that she always talks about and always brags about. She's like, oh, I have all these sisters and all these brothers. We have this. I'm like, well, don't you want to recreate that? And I'm not saying that, for my own sexual gain. I'm just saying that, like, wouldn't you want like a large family like that without having to give all the births? And she's just dead against it. And I think that that's largely because she lived in a changing society in her own country and a modern society here that's put on her, like the thought of a man that she's with being with someone else is just wrong. But I'm like, was it wrong for your mother? Like, you know. And then when you look at the past, it's always been commonly understood that the brothels stayed in business for a reason. Why are so many slaves light skinned? I think women just knew, and they just like, okay, we get it, but I'm the wife at the end of the day, and I'm okay.
All right, what do ladies on the panel think about that? But wait, before I go to that, real quick, and hopefully I hold your thought and don't get thrown off the scent after I read the super chat. But he says, when a man has a family with kids and he finds out his lady stepped out, if he stays for the family, the women are out of the will and all resources now go to the kids. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. All right, to what game changer said, Jackie Jack, go ahead. You got it.
Well, on the first question about men cheating, I mean, I had the same thought as your girl Bernard. I thought as if my guy cheated on me, he was about to leave me. I was gonna lose him.
Mhm.
And I think going back to Rod of God, I think it's all about I think it's about thinking in the female way of thinking. Like, I would never cheat on my dude. If I did, it's because I really don't want to be with him no more. So women think like, oh, he's gonna leave me because he's cheating on me, because that's the only reason why I would ever cheat, because I don't want to be with him anymore.
And that's
And then
why
when
it's worse when women do it. That's why cheating is worse when women do it, because that is the reason that they cheat. The reason that men cheat, and this goes into what Brenda was saying. What is she doing that I am not doing? And that's providing him with two vaginas. That's why men cheat, because we want two vaginas. Like, but women cheat because they want to leave. That's why it's more of an egregious act. She's preparing to leave. We're not preparing to leave.
Why don't women just leave when they're ready to leave? Why have sex with somebody else? That's like a huge fuck you on the way out the door.
She's
Like, what's up
securing a
with
new
that?
relationship, kind of like interviewing for
Ah,
another job.
Exactly that.
oh,
What game
While,
so
was
she,
while
Game
working.
so
Changer
she,
said? We have to
so she
secure
wanted.
it first.
Oh no! Now think about that. Now refer that back to the previous conversation about making a man wait. But while in a relationship, they'll happily fuck their way into a new relationship. But
Hell
outside of a relationship, they will play the whole "gotta make a man wait" card.
yeah. Right. Yeah, which is interesting. But yeah, it's just that because women already know their power because we're born with value. And so it's like, okay, if I secure him, all I got to do is just sleep with him. Boom, I get everything. And if you think about it, that's how most women, back in the days, they get to the top by sleeping to the top. And so I think it kind of segues to that aspect. For women, it's more emotional. So when sex has emotions, and so we'll do in that pattern. But males are more like, oh, she was just right there, and there's no heartstrings, because males usually know what they're going to lose if they're walking away. So yeah.
There you
But
go with that.
that's just my opinion.
There you go with that magical heartstrings word again. I don't know. I don't know what you be talking about with that one.
You know what? I'm gonna lose that word.
Nope.
That's
Your word. That's your word.
Yes.
Stand in it. Hey, ARC, I don't want you to come up here and give away what you're going to talk about on your stream, because I know you said you want to do a follow-up stream to this. So I don't want you to give away everything you're going to say. However, if you do want to take the link and come up and explain what do you mean when you said tell Game Changer that it's that's actually not 100% true, Game Changer. There's the link in the chat. If you go ahead.
If I had to guess, I think he's saying that sometimes sometimes women cheat for lustful reasons. And I do agree with that. However, in his stories, he do say that these women are willing to leave their husbands for him. So it is more of an egregious act. They, the thing that's stopping them is him. Let's be clear. So okay, go for it.
All right, we got.
Can I say one more?
All right, hold on, go ahead, real quick, Jackie Jack, before we pass it to ARC.
I just wanted to kind of reply to what Game Changer said earlier about he thinks women have problems with men cheating now because of society. Like
Brenda, just so you know, next time you put lip gloss on or whatever that is, I'm zooming in on you like that. Next time I catch you playing with your lips on the camera, I'm gonna zoom in on you like that. Just don't let me catch you slipping again. But all right, go ahead, Jackie Jack.
I have to do it fast. When it comes to like men cheating in modern times, it can get very embarrassing, because if other women find out he's cheating, they're gonna clown you. They're gonna talk bad about you behind your back. And if the woman he's cheating with, they think this is an interesting game to play. They're gonna put his information out there. It's really just they just go after just to embarrass you. So getting cheated on could bring a whole hailstorm. So I think when Rada God said it's about ego too, as far as like women getting mad about men cheating, it really is, because there's so much baggage that comes with it afterwards in this day and time.
I agree. I mean, you're right. I mean, and that's the thing. Once it's found out, then you're subject to societal scrutiny. That's what I'm saying. It's a social thing. It's a, society is influenced, and like basically society is pressuring women to say you're supposed to react this way. And once society finds out, women start to scrutinize and say, why aren't you acting this way? You just found out your man was cheating.
Well, all right. So we're gonna pass it to ARC, and like I said earlier, ARC, I don't want you to give away everything you're gonna discuss on your show, but just responding directly to what Game Changer is talking about right there. Go ahead, you have the floor, you have the mic, and welcome to the show.
Salute to the GOAT.
Thank you, man. Bernard, dude. I know you've been told this 100 times, but that camera you use, really all the cameras of the panelists are exceptional. I feel bad, man. I got this camera make me look all fuzzy on my live streams, and y'all got all this 2000.
Hey, go to mediocre tutorials and reviews channel. He dropped a link to his camera that he used. Just click the link, and if you want to upgrade your camera, I recommend that one right there. That's the one that I use, and it worked out well. I bought some other cameras that I can't even figure out how to work, but there's that Canon EOS 77D, EOS 77D, easy camera to use. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it's so much clarity, man, that when I got bored early in your conversation, I just was counting your eyebrow hairs, man. That's how much clarity. But no, I'm not going to get too long-winded, but number one, I appreciate you shouting out my books earlier. But yeah, Game Changer basically already predicted along the lines of what I was going to say. But since I've been on YouTube, I found myself jumping on panels that disagree with both men and women. Two things. One, a lot of men will make this assertion that, hey, when it comes to having sex, women are more emotional than men are. That's BS. That's just straight up BS. It's like they're trying to imply that women never have sex for lustful purposes. And that's so far from the truth, it's not even funny. Because as most people know my controversial history, having sex with married women who were engaged to be married, and women who had long-term boyfriends. Pretty much every woman I've ever had, minus about maybe 4 or 5 of them, I had, let's say between 17 and 37, I had sex with roughly 40 women who either had a husband, fiance, or boyfriend. Mm-hmm. I said out of those 40 women, probably 35 of those women never developed an emotional attachment to me to the point where they were ready to leave their husband, fiance, or boyfriend. They were basically just like, you are my designated dick on the side. I like revealing a different side to you that I don't feel comfortable revealing to my husband, fiance, or boyfriend. And it went from there. And so that's not an automatic thing. Like, on a quick side story, I was interviewed on this woman named Dr. Veronica Anderson. She had a popular talk radio show a few years ago out of New York City. And she had me on this panel with 3 other people who were academically far more credentialed than I. And it irritated me because each of these psychologists with these PhDs behind their name, they were given excuses and justifications for women for cheating versus men. With men, it was basically like they just don't have, in so many words, dick discipline. They can't control themselves. But with women, it was like, oh, they're trying to fill an emotional void, and the man's not paying them as much quality attention, is not romancing them enough. And I was the one who came in, and the host later complimented me for being just real enough. I said, no. I said, with all due respect to the other panelists, they are wrong. Sometimes women just want some dick. Mm-hmm. They want a man who's either kinkier than their significant other, just overall better in bed, more satisfying than their current significant other, more dominant than their current significant other. And so in that respect, they're not that much different from men. And one other thing,
also they want to feel like men too, and that's why they do that. But
here's where the core comes from, and this is related to my books, particularly chapter 9 and the possibility of sex that Bernard mentioned earlier. See, the starting point with a lot of these relationships is that there's a lot of women who will connect with a guy romantically, knowing from the get-go that he's not their most satisfying lover. Now, there's some women who will choose a guy who has, say, the total package. He is their best companion both sexually and non-sexually, which would include also financially. But there's a lot of women who will say, okay, I'm going to hook up with John, and I know John disappoints me in bed, but God, he's so funny. He's so good with my kids. He's a good financial provider, but God, he disappoints me in bed, but dang, that guy, JoJo really knows how to hit that spot. So I'm going to have JoJo as my designated dick on the side. And finally, it's fine. I did a Patreon exclusive video one time about when a woman will leave a guy and when she would just continue to cheat. And here's what it comes down to. If a woman is satisfied with her husband or significant others, everything about his non-sexual companionship and his financial provision, she's not leaving that guy. She's just going to cheat on him if she's sexually dissatisfied. When a woman will start putting in the process to leave is when she is dissatisfied with both a man's sexual companionship and some aspect of his non-sexual companionship and financial provision. So if you're a husband and say you're not satisfying your wife in bed, but on top of that, you don't engage in entertaining conversations with her, you got a lot of financial struggles, or you're financially irresponsible, then that woman, as soon as she connects with a guy who can offer everything across the board better than you, she's going to leave. Plain and simple. But again, if the only thing that's missing is satisfying dick, 99% of the time, a woman's not going to leave on that.
So okay, there's a couple of things I want to say to that, and this is why standby is still more egregious when women do it. One, because we live in a society here in the U.S. where a woman can have access to a man's finances without the man through, divorce, alimony, child support, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If she is only with a man for that reason, and she's with another man for the good wood, then she is more likely to leave, take his resources to the next man with the good wood, and society will back her in this endeavor. That's why it's dangerous. But more importantly, it's
wait, hold on, Game Changer, hold your thought real quick. Who the hell is JoJo?
No, JoJo is the name that Alan just gave.
Oh, I use that as a fictional name, but they use it in chat or something.
That Alan just gave. Yeah.
Okay. My bad. I thought it was somebody in the chat room. I'm sorry. I'll be reading and spacing out, and I looked up and I saw the name JoJo in the chat room. I'm like, okay, I'm sitting there going through the chat trying to find who is this JoJo motherfucker clowning in the chat room. I missed what you said. I didn't know you gave him a name, but all right, go ahead, John.
Yeah. And the second reason why it's considerably more egregious is because like let's just say it's not the scenario that I gave, and it's more akin to the scenario that you gave, because she did it for lustful purposes. You see, the thing is that men's libido is capped by options, by limited options, where women have damn near infinite options. You just go into any average looking woman's, Tinder account, and you will see infinite options. So she's capped only by her libido or lack thereof, or sexual discipline, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If she does not have any sexual discipline, then she's not just sleeping with JoJo. She's sleeping with JoJo, Roro, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. Basically, she's pretty much going through the whole gambit because she can, just like a man would, but we, for the most part, can't. I know that there are exceptions to the rule. So yeah, it is a greater problem when women do it. It's a much, much greater problem when women cheat. Because let's face it, if she's doing it for the sake of sexual gratification, then she can get gangbanged a lot easier than I can have an orgy with, say 7 women or something like that.
Well, because we're using the term cheating, I would have to respectfully disagree, because I understand the spirit in what you're saying. No doubt, I do understand the spirit in what you're saying. But here's what I have a problem with. There's a lot of guys in this space who I've heard make comments along the lines of, well, only a woman can cheat. Technically, just a man is a man, so technically he can't cheat. Anytime you lying to your partner and going behind their back and having sex with somebody else, you're in the wrong. Male, female. You're in the wrong. A lot of men, I say, and I got my criticism of women too, but for right now, there's a lot of men who try to defend cheating like it's their right per their gender to do it. No. Now, I'm not against any man or any woman choosing to have multiple sex partners. If that's what they choose to do, that's what they choose to do. But as anybody who's familiar with my books knows, I'm all about being upfront and straightforwardly honest about it. I don't respect verbal cowards. I don't respect liars. I don't respect manipulators. So I don't like to hear any man or woman ever defending the concept of cheat. Like I will say for myself, even though
I'm not defending,
I'm not saying, well, you might not be defending cheating, but you said more so that you think it's more egregious when women cheat than men cheat. But I'm basically saying I think cheating across the board is fucked up because it involves you lying and sneaking behind your partner's back. For that alone, I can't look at one as being more egregious than the other. To me, it's both. You're wrong on both ends.
Well, I mean, once again, there's levels of wrong. And though both parties is wrong, one is wronger than the other. And the type of wrong depends on the more devastating effect. I mean, there's degrees to it. That's why we have like murder 1 and murder 2 and things like that. I mean, when a woman cheats, it does have the potential to go a lot wronger for the family and everyone involved than when a man cheats.
Really?
Yes. For the reasons I
That's interesting.
I'll take your word for that. I'll say by my experiences and observations, I can never agree with that assertion. I can never agree with that. I've seen men fuck up a family by cheating. I have 2 aunts. My late father's 2 sisters. The reason why they got divorced is because both of their husbands cheating on them, and it fucked up their family. So for somebody to say that only a woman can be the one to really destroy a family, that ain't been true I can't speak for other people's experience.
Well, the reason that they got divorced, Alan, the reason why they got divorced is because he cheated and she decided to divorce him, not simply because she cheated. Let's be clear. Like the decision ultimately was hers to do. So, but nevertheless, for the reasons expressed, women have have different emotional and social makeup. It is wronger when women cheat.
Or maybe, you know what,
well,
ALC? Maybe what he's saying is it's harder for men to get over it. Did you see that interview with Cam Newton where he
That's
admitted
not
that he stayed with his chick after she cheated on him?
that's
no, I
not
didn't see
what I'm
that.
saying.
I didn't see that interview.
Yeah,
That's not what I'm
man.
saying, Rodigan. I'm saying a couple of things.
I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm
Okay.
trying to find some middle ground.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, what I would say is this. Here's been my experience and observation. Men, one thing I would say that's somewhat different, not totally different, it's a case-by-case basis, but generally speaking, I said this at the 21 convention last time I spoke there. Men are more egotistically territorial than the average woman is. A man is very egotistically territorial about pussy. Basically, when he gives a woman the title of girlfriend, fiance, or wife, he believes he should own that pussy in blunt terms. He believes I now own that pussy. So he feels like it's an egregious act against him when a woman shares it with another man because he feels like I own that pussy. Whereas women, you can have a few percentage of women that might feel that way about a man's penis. But honestly, women, and I've talked about this on videos, I think Bernard even alluded to it earlier in this live stream. Most women are actually more possessive and territorial when it comes to a man's non-sexual companionship and his finances. That's what they don't want to be shared with another woman. That's why, especially when a woman's in a relationship with a beta male, you'll notice if a woman's in a relationship with a man that she perceives as a beta male and say he cheats on her, she'll go off on him. She'll sometimes physically attack him. Because here's at the core of it. She knows that if a man sleeps with another woman while he's married to her, she knows how much influence her beauty and sex appeal had on her husband. And she knows that many men are enamored by women's beauty and sex appeal. So she's thinking to herself, well, dang, if he sleeps with his coworker Diane, he's going to stop providing for me. He's going to start spending money on her. The flattering and entertaining conversations he was having with me, he's going to start having with her. So they more so thinking in the non-sexual / financial area. But again, when it comes to penis, you might have a small percentage of women that might just want the penis just for them. But mainly, they ain't going to trip on that too much to wait. But guys are like, oh, shit. You share my pussy with another dude? The pussy I own? That I bought by putting a ring on your finger? You sharing that with another guy? How dare you do that? Because we're just naturally territorial like that. It's kind of, I said at the 21, it's for better or for worse that we are territorial like that. But we are. So that's why I would halfway agree with you, Game Changer, is that men, we look at it as more egregious because we feel more of a sense of ownership.
Yeah. And it's not just a feeling, you should own it. You know, I mean, and if you don't, then that's going to cause problems in the relationships. But no, I mean, women who are married and get into these type of relationships should understand that for sexual purposes, you're his property and he owns you. You know,
well, see, it used to be like that. That's one of the reasons I wrote the Beta Male Revolution, because see, in simple terms, that period between 1960 and the early to mid 70s changed all that. Before the 1960s, you wouldn't be considered crazy to say, yeah, I believe I own my wife's vagina. I believe, because that's how it was. That's how it was literally permeated in society.
And society,
but what happened with the second wave of feminism was that they basically said, no man owns my vagina. That was part of the message of the second wave of feminism in the 60s, that no man, my father don't own it, so he can't tell me who to marry and who not to marry. Even my own husband doesn't own I own my vagina. It's my body and my choices. That was the big message in the 60s among feminists. Their attitude was, nobody owns my vagina. I don't care who you are. You could be my husband. You don't own my vagina. I own it. And I'm allowing you access to it. And that's how women have most women have operated since that time. Is that, no, even if I get in a relationship with you, or even if I agree to marry you, you don't own my vagina.
Oh,
I agree.
One quick note on that. I forgot exactly how she worded it. Some of y'all might remember when Jada Pinkett and Will Smith did the little red table talk thing, and people were she addressed the notion that people were saying that he allowed her to do it or gave her permission to do it.
I remember.
She made it clear. No, only I can permit myself. Like she basically was saying Will Smith don't have the power to allow or permit what I do. It's my decision.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, so she basically echoed exactly what you're saying in so many words.
Yeah, no, that's that modern thinking. That's why we label modern women. But I mean, keep in mind, Alan, and this is to everybody, feminists are not women. You know, so like
Bars.
Feminists are
yeah,
not women. Okay.
yeah,
All
feminists
right,
are not
got
women.
it.
And you know, therefore their view on such things don't matter. No, a natural woman understands that's just the way nature works on both things, the male ego and as well as the woman ego. He desires to possess as she desires to be possessed. Now cheating also goes again, and this is why it's more of an egregious thing when a woman does it, is because it goes against that natural construct. She's behaving outside of her feminine way. So
Oh, please don't do an Akon on me, Game Changer. Please don't do an Akon. Dude, I eviscerated Akon in a couple of my videos in the last couple of years. You sound like that singer Akon. This is, for those in the chat room don't know what I'm talking about. The singer Akon was being interviewed on somebody's nationally syndicated radio show. And he said, basically, I'm paraphrasing words, but he said, men were born to be both promiscuous, polyamorous, and polygamous. We were born to be that way. But women, they're going against their nature when they engage in promiscuous behavior and poly. That is the most ridiculous bullshit I've ever fucking heard in my skin.
No,
triggered by that, but that is bullshit, man. It ain't no human being. No human being was born with monogamy. Monogamy is a social construct.
No,
it's a social construct. No woman was born with predisposition to be monogamous to any one man. Anybody try to say this, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No, I'm not saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rambo.
Rambo, yeah.
Okay. Okay, listen. I'm not saying that they don't have, that in them, Alan. I'm not saying that at all.
Okay.
What I am saying what I am saying that is that it's imperative for a woman to behave in a certain way, that she, have some discipline about her sexual functions.
Why?
If absent. Why? Because once again, she has limitless options. Therefore, the only thing that restrains her from going full slut mode is her restraint. If she don't have these restraints, Alan, then and she fucks even just 10% of the people in her Tinder profile, she becomes an extraordinarily sexually irresponsible human being. And
Why?
a detriment. Excuse me?
Why?
Well, because it breeds things like disease and
so you said a man can't pass on disease?
Right quick. It breeds things like disease and paternity and things like that come into question when that happens. That's not necessarily the case. And when you say men don't spread disease, men do not have the sexual options that women have. Once again, let's just say
that's not 100% true.
Well, that's not 100% true for you. However, it is 100% true for the other 98% of men. We just ain't got it like that, Alan. So, for example, I do not have the sexual options of any of the ladies in the damn it.
GC, was that you?
Yeah, that's me. It's the landscapers. They come on Mondays. But I do not have the sexual options that any of the ladies on the panel have, nor have I ever at any point in my life. Therefore, if I wanted to lead a promiscuous lifestyle, that lifestyle will be kept to an appropriate minimum. However, if they wanted to lead a promiscuous lifestyle, it's endless. It's endless. They can literally get 10 different dicks a day, where I would have difficulty in getting 10 vaginas a day.
See, here's the problem I'm having with at least some of your commentary. And you can correct me if I'm misinterpreting some things. But again, it relates to my book, Debating My Revolution. You're saying, you're almost discussing how you feel women should behave. Keyword.
That's exactly what I'm doing, yeah.
Should. And see, the whole point, again, of that period between 1960 and the early to mid 70s was women saying, we're not going to act the way society says we should act. We're going to act the way we fucking want to act.
Yeah.
Whether men like that or not, that's what women said to society. We're going to act the way we fucking want to act. And see, my only thing, here's why I would partially defend the women. I don't mind how any woman behaves as long as she's transparent about it. as long as she's upfront. For example, if a woman has a promiscuous tendency, I'm not going to hold that against her if she's upfront and straightforward about it. Only thing I don't like is a woman who is privately promiscuous but tries to present to the general public that she's just strictly monogamy-oriented type woman. That's disingenuous as fuck. So I have criticism of that, and that's what a lot of my books are about. But as long as a woman is transparent about who she is, my attitude is, who am I to pass judgment? Because I have the right to dismiss that woman. I have the right to say, okay, this woman has said she's this way, this way, this way. I'm just going to dismiss her. I never tell a woman how she should act other than when she's being misrepresenting herself, being blatantly disingenuous. But you behind the times, you sound like a hardcore traditionalist if you're saying, well, all women should be ladylike, they should be strictly monogamy oriented, they should wear dresses instead of pants. That's what's known as a traditionalist view.
Alan, as a dominant man, I think that it's incumbent upon us to tell women how they should act at all times. Like, that's part of what you do.
I half agree with you and I half disagree. In respect to yourself, I agree. In respect to the individual man, like, for example, if I deal with a woman, here's where I agree with you. Yeah, it is my right to say, hey, if you want to be my girlfriend, my fiance, my wife,
my daughter,
you need to meet these standards. So if you're talking about in respect to you, Game Changer, or me in respect to me, I don't have any disagreement. But if you're talking about a woman that you're not on the verge of dating or having sex with, my attitude would be, why do you give a fuck how she behaved towards the other men? That ain't your problem.
Because it's not incumbent upon men to just dominate the individual woman that he's with, even though that's a necessity. It's also incumbent upon men to dominate the society. You see, when we were a male-dominated society before the 60s and 70s, as you described, men set particular rules and guidelines. That is the masculine portion of society gaining control of the feminine portion of society, much like you gain control of the women in your relationship. That is how that worked. This, what happened after that is women taking control, and it begins with her sexual nature in order to do that. I'm saying that, a woman collectively should get back in line. There's the kitchen.
This is hold on, wait. This is what I'm hearing in this relationship. I mean, not really in this discussion. This is what I'm hearing in this discussion. I'm hearing Game Changer saying he, in general, wants structure and order in society, so everybody can win. What I'm hearing ARC saying, he's okay with lack of structure and lack of order in society, and it'd be just a little bit of chaos because he knows, okay, he can go in that chaos and win real big in that chaos. As if you know his stories, he did win real big in that chaos. So Game Changer is making looking at it from a broad sociological perspective and saying, how to get this, like that sign, that scene in A Beautiful Mind, how to get the best outcome for everybody, versus ARC saying, no, just let it be random and deregulated, because I'm gonna go in that jungle and come out on top. Is that a fair assessment?
I wouldn't exactly agree with that. You're along the same. Here's what this discussion is almost a microcosm of. I had to bring up a disagreement I had with another fairly popular black male YouTuber. One of the first videos I did after I got on YouTube that probably got a high percentage of pushback from a lot of black men. I think it was either in summer or fall of 2018. I did a video called We Are Never, I said something like, get real. We are never going back to the way we were before the 1960s. And I expressed a lot of strong thoughts, opinions.
Wait, hold on real quick, ARC. I just noticed it was a message in the back where Sandra was saying that she got to call it a night because you over in China, okay, and it's like probably 1 a.m. over there right now. You got to go to work in the morning. So yeah, you probably didn't want to just abruptly leave or interrupt. So I'm just saying that thank you for coming up. I do appreciate you coming up. Moderators, drop her links in the chat room one last time as she gets out of here. Thank you for coming on the show. I do appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Get some sleep. All right.
Is Sandra from London?
No, she's from here, but she's living in China, somewhere in China.
Oh, yeah.
I think she hold on. I think she followed her man over there. Ain't that why you over there? Your man went over there and you just went with him, something like that?
No. I came over
come on
here
now.
because I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was trying to give you a good story that we was going to
Well,
do.
my
I like
story's
it.
still really good of how I met my man. But I came over here because I wanted to have the opportunity to travel, still be able to pay off my student loans, and then, experience a different culture. And so when I was looking for a job, it kept popping up, teaching China. I did some research and I ended up moving to China in August of 2019. And unfortunately, almost a couple months after that, the virus hit. And so I couldn't do any of the travel. I was pretty much stuck here. But that's what brought me over here was the low cost
you met
of
him.
living.
You met him when you was over there.
Well, yeah, I've met him since I've been here.
See, people be talking about you. I heard somebody say that you was with a guy here, and then he was going to China for work or something, and you was like, I'm following my man to the moon and back or something like that. But anyway, all right. I thought you followed him over to China. Hey, that was
I didn't know people were talking about me like that.
I heard somebody you was getting discussed in the chat room. But no,
let him talk.
I was gonna give you props for it. I like to hear stuff like that. I was gonna give you props for that story. You follow your man. But anyway, all right, I'm gonna let you go get out of here, go to sleep. All right, thanks for coming.
Bye, y'all.
All right, bye.
No, I here's where I disagree. Well, first I'm gonna say two things. One, yeah, I did a video called "We Are Never Going Back to How We Were Before the 1960s."
Mm-hmm.
And among other people, the main person who gave me pushback on that particular video was BGS Ibmore. He said he did a response video and he basically said, well, Alan, the problem he said, I have a lot of respect for Alan Roger Curry, but the problem I have with him, he focuses more on micro issues, basically one-on-one interaction issues rather than macro group to group issues. And my response to his response video was, I'm not trying to be a pseudo sociologist. I'm not a credentialed sociologist. And number two, I'm somewhat of a disciple of Dr. Stephen Covey, author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And if anyone read his book, they know one of his big messages in that book is that you can't be worrying about other people's behavior. You got to worry about what's within your control. So here's where I would say I agree and disagree with your assessment, Bernard. I wouldn't say I totally don't care about what happens with other men. I wouldn't have wrote my books, particularly The Possibility of Sex, No Free Attention, and Beta Male Revolution. If I said that when I first got on YouTube, I told my listeners, I said, if I didn't give a fuck about you dudes, just literally didn't give a fuck, I would have never wrote my books, the books that I did, particularly those 3 books. But at the same time, my thing is this, man, you create a lot of just conjecture and invalid rhetoric when you constantly talking about what people should. That's in the category of preaching. That's basically what's known as preaching and lecturing to people. When you telling people, y'all people should do this and y'all people should do that. I give each individual man what I feel is a map for diminishing the manipulative head games with women in their life and choosing a quality partner versus a low quality partner. I feel like I give them a formula. But I'm not going to ever do a bunch of podcasts saying, hey, women, they should be doing this and they should be doing that. Yeah, some of the things I might say they should be doing could be fairly valid. But the reality is, man, I've always said this a million times, even here on this channel. We're living in what's known as a civilized society. In a civilized society, women are always going to have a lot of leverage. I told men in real blunt terms, if you want to be the truly dominant gender, then get rid of all the aspects of society that are civilized. Get rid of all the aspects of society that are civilized. Be so hardcore as to say women can't work and earn their own money. Be as hardcore as to say women can't be a part of politics and policy implementation. Who's realistically, what group of men are realistically going to go that stretch? Go back to essentially bordering on now, Ramil, to his credit, and I love Ramil, but this one here is I disagree with. He actually once said, he was being interviewed by your arch enemy, Bernard, the Breakdown.
Nah, don't call him that.
He flat out said it. He said he was talking about stuff to do with what he basically felt was wrong with women. And Sister Georgia Concrete Rose said, Ramil, what would be your solution? He just flat out said, he said, go back to oppressing women. And they started laughing, and Raniere was like, no, I'm serious. He said, I believe we need to go back. He said, women shouldn't be able to work. Women shouldn't be able to vote. He said, if you ask me, women even shouldn't be able to drive cars. He said, we need to go back to oppressing women. He said that's the only way that men are going to be able to retake charge of society. But even though I didn't agree with the way he said that, essentially he was telling the truth, though, man. All this other stuff, man, is just utopian dreams, man, idealistic assertions, man, but they don't mean shit. Women, they were strategic. They put themselves in a position for their voice to count, starting with the 60s. Mm-hmm. And then they got involved in politics. Now there's a lot of female members of Congress. You got female governors, female mayors. They didn't just sit on some podcast talking about shit. They said, okay, we're going to make some shit happen, and they did. And whether you like it or not, you got to give them their respect. They said, if y'all not going to do the shit, we're going to make some shit happen. And they did.
Right. Okay. What you're saying is, hold on real quick. I'm going to throw it to you, Games. What you're saying is true, but at the end of the day, they did start out with some idealistic assertions, and they started out, they didn't have the I don't know what the equivalent was of what kind of independent media, if it was back then, but they did what they did to spread the message and get the word out. They changed the hearts and minds of lots of women that caused that essentially sparked what you talk about, that second wave of feminism, sexual revolution, and all of that. Changed the hearts and minds of women, made women start moving different, acting different, and then those same women grew up and got into politics and then started changing laws and started working on their behalf. So I don't think it's pie in the sky to speak from it from the perspective that Game Changer is doing, but at the same time, what you just acknowledged is how they were technically losing in a long, probably 50, 60, maybe 70-year marathon. Basically, they got their victory. They got the dub. Basically, they got the W. They figured out how to win the large scale game. So, and me and Game Changer talk about this. I don't even want to get into the current manosphere politics, but some people will criticize somebody else trying to essentially, spark a movement and at the early galvanizing phases of it and saying, "Oh, that ain't gonna work." It's like a lot of people do that, but at the same time, I'm sure they had their naysayers back then when they had the big bad evil patriarchy to try to overturn, which in many ways they somehow did it. It took about 50 years. Some of the people fighting for it in the 70s didn't even truly get to live to see the full benefits of it, but they did actually win. They still walk around talking like victims of the patriarchy, but in many ways they defeated it. So I understand what you're saying, and
so yeah, my bottom line is I don't just look out for, as Game Changer implied, just the small percentage of womanizing alpha males in society. Again, I wouldn't have wrote the books that I wrote if that was the case, but I just feel like if guys really want to be, as they say, the truly dominant man, like say back as they were back in the 1920s, I want to know what they're doing to make that happen other than talking. That's the only thing I want to know. What are they actually doing to reclaim men as the truly dominant gender other than just talking? I mean, in other words, are they getting involved in politics? Are they getting involved in organizations where they mentor young men? What are they doing?
It's well, no matter what, it's never enough. I mean, when you want to undermine something, I mean, like I would love to hear the person who said that to Malcolm X. Well, what are you doing besides talking? I'm pretty sure you would say, excuse me? I would like to hear the person who says that to Martin Luther King. Oh, but what are you doing besides talking? I mean, was he a politician? Was he the things that you described? However, he did affect change, did he not? He galvanized a large group of people, and those group of people helped him to affect change. You see, people do that in order to diminish or undermine any type of movement towards any direction. What I'm proposing is that, well, first of all, I want to cover this whole, developed society or civilized society. Society is civil whether the women behave or not. Like this is it. Society isn't determined by how many slut walks it is. Oh, this is a civilized society because look at these women slut walking next to an elementary school. That's shit. That's stupid to think that women's liberation is a determinant factor on if a society is civilized or not. The Romans were civilized, and women were legally property. You know, every civilization was built on the backs of women who cooked and cleaned. You know, so the term "half and home" is a Roman term. I don't know any society that developed by a group of unruly bitches. What the hell? So yes, this is the end of civilization, Alan. You know, a bunch of women who are out of line, not reproducing at a substantial rate, you know, and not really instilling proper culture and things like that into the children is the decline of a society. Yes. So when you talk about like American society, it was built on the 50s housewives. It was built on the virtuous women and things like that of the past. It's going to be destroyed by these modern bitches unless men choose to do something. Evil wins when good
Okay,
men.
such as give me
Well,
some.
right quick. Evil wins when good men choose to not do anything. And guess what? Modern women and these unruly fat ass bitches is evil. Okay. And if we choose to do nothing about it, including talk, you know, then we are letting them win. Shout out to all the talkers in the world, you know, shout out to the Martin Luther King, shout out to the Frederick Douglasses, shout out to the Malcolm X's, shout out to all the talkers who actually affected change.
Oh, I'm not against people using their mouthpiece to affect change. Shit, you talking to a brother who's done that.
Well, good.
I'm spoken internationally, man. I've been on national TV, so nobody can take away the part about talking. I use my books, the content of my books, to change. My biggest thing is I want to
but you call it
eliminate
preaching
all
when you call it
manipulative head
preaching
games.
when you do it
Excuse
to
me.
women,
I
though.
want to eliminate
No, let him
all
finish. Let him
manipulative
finish.
head games between men and women. So, you know, if you're going to throw all them names out, you might as well throw out Alan Roger Curry. I'm not saying everybody who talks is unproductive in their talking. I'm not saying that. And if that was the impression people got, then I spoke wrong. But what I'm saying is I want to know some specifics about guys saying, okay, let's start with some guy saying the modern woman is fucked up. Okay, what do you want to see change first? And how are you going to provoke that change? That's what I would want to know. And whether, depending on how a guy responds to those questions, he might give a response that makes me say, okay, respect. That sounds like a good plan. But other guys, it just sounds like they just bitching. They just whining and bitching, man. There's a difference. You use the term galvanize. There's a difference between being a leader and galvanize people who are down with your program versus just whining and bitching about shit that's out of your direct control. I don't like to whine and bitch about shit that's out of my direct control. Nothing. I feel like part of being a man is taking control of your life and making shit happen, and then people see you making shit happen, and then they want to follow your lead.
Bars.
Yeah, and that's what galvanizing is. Now, the difference between the two, Alan, is how the individual interprets it. One can say that any of the people I mentioned were bitching. You know, it depends on how they interpret the message. Now, if they choose to interpret it that way, it's because they have their own agenda to maintain the status quo, in my opinion, and which is fine. But you know, don't try to diminish what others are saying by calling it bitching or preaching. I mean, I do notice that men who say that tend to say it's only preaching when you talk to women. If I try to convince, 1,000 men to go mode one, it's not bitching, it's educating, it's informing. However, if I try to convince 1,000 women to, be subservient to their men and find happiness in doing so through family, then it is considered bitching or preaching or what have you. You see, this comes from a desire to protect the status quo. A lot of men feel that what happened in the 60s and 70s was a good thing, especially if they benefited from it sexually or otherwise, and they want to continue with that. The benefit that one has received from the 60s or 70s is always going to be there in the memories of their penis. And not only that, people got busy during the 50s and prior to that. What I'm saying is, Alan, that this is how we choose to affect change, and the critiques of it is not going to change that.
You don't understand the distinction between giving a motivational speech and whining and bitching. You act like the average person wouldn't be able to understand the difference.
Please elaborate. I mean, I
Here's what I would generally define it. I've done videos
by that logic,
whining and bitching.
see, here's the thing, Alan. You could call everything bitching. Like you can call the Boston Tea Party a bunch of people bitching about taxes. Like you can pretty much call everything bitching. Like so, yeah. I name a speech and I'll call it bitching. Gandhi was bitching about English oppression. Like you could pretty much name any speech where they motivated the masses and call it bitching to undermine what they were doing.
All right, now you're being intellectually dishonest.
All right, who said that? Go ahead and explain why.
That was me. And this is going to be my last comment. I got to drop off, man. Go pick up my son.
Okay.
It's intellectually dishonest to try to conflate, to try to misconstrue what Alan is saying. What he's saying is when it comes to men, and I think we can agree, it is a kind of a critique of a lot of men in this space, that there can become this kind of like, modern women are so problematic. Modern women should do this. Modern women should do that. And that can come off as bitching because all of the modern women as a whole, they are not your concern personally. And even if they hear you, even if they hear you out, if they hear what you have to say, they're not usually, probably, almost never going to change or accept that critique that you're giving them. That's a lot different than a person who's trying to like start a movement, which is the better parts of this space. Men who are actually, no, we're not trying to change anyone's mind. We are simply stating the facts, and we are arming our fellow brothers with this information so that as more and more people get exposed to this space, they get exposed to this real, to this truth. And to say that by him making that distinction, that it's one and the same, that's like saying, that the Martin Luther King the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech is bitching. That is intellectually dishonest. But on that note, I gotta head out, man. It was a fun time, man.
Yeah, no doubt, Rod. Thanks for coming up. Thanks for being a part of the show. And I'll say it's in this space. Okay, this space, it does have a lot of disingenuous detractors who it don't matter how precise, how statistically, historically accurate somebody might be. I just recently listened to one of Angry Man's Fire and Brimstone sermons where he completely killed it, knocked it out the park. It was a few days ago. I mean, he go on twice a day. I can't even remember. But it was a few days ago where he knocked it out the park with a Fire and Brimstone sermon. And yes, there are disingenuous detractors who will say, man, you just bitching about women, complaining about stuff you can't fix. Like we get stuff like that all the time in this space. So it's the waters. It's gotten muddy to the point to where's the line? Where's the distinction? I think I know what type of person ARC is talking about, because there are some who just complain about personal gripes and shortcomings. They're not looking at, big picture in society. But so it gets, the waters get muddy when it comes to drawing a line, or the line gets stepped on and trampled all over the place. There's no exact line between somebody putting good information out there that people need to hear versus somebody just bitching. So it is.
Yeah, I give an example to do with my book. Well, before I get to my book, I normally should know to ignore the chat room, especially haters and critics in the chat room.
And I do want to get to the people at the bottom too.
But for those of you trying to charge me with being a male feminist, okay, I'm not. But let's say for argument's sake, I was. If I'm a male feminist, then that means 95 to 99% of the motherfuckers in this space are male feminists, because they always repeat and regurgitate my fucking talking points. So how you gonna call me a male feminist, but then you go on other people's live streams and listen to them just blatantly rip off talking points from my book, The Possibility of Sex, The Beta Male Revolution, Mode 1, No Free Attention. So if I'm a male feminist, why is so many people copying my shit? So if I'm a male feminist, then all the people you like and adore and respect are male feminists, because they copying my shit. Drops Mike, STFU. My book, The Possibility of Sex. Now, that book is about the manipulative and materialistic nature of women. Now, somebody might look at that book, particularly without reading it, and say, oh, I heard that's a book about Alan Roger Curry just whining and bitching about manipulative women. No, I'm not in that book saying to women, hey, why y'all so manipulative? Why y'all be doing that? Like, why y'all be lying to men and like misleading them and using them for their money? Why you be doing that? See, that would be an example, whining and bitching, if that was the context of my book. Like, hey, why you be doing that? Like, these women are so fucked up. No, I'm giving men a specific strategy to quickly identify women who are highly manipulative so they can quickly weed them out. That's why my book is not considered whining and bitching, because I'm giving a strategy. And I say that about any man. If you have a gripe against women and you're expressing some type of strategy to eliminate that aspect of the behavior, like I give one example. A lot of guys complain about women being overweight. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of women overweight, particularly black women. No doubt. No argument. But if all you're doing is keep saying, hey, man, there's a bunch of fat women out here. There's a bunch of fat women out here. There's a bunch of fat women out here. You think the fat women care while they're eating their whole large pizza by themselves? You think they care? That'd be different if you said, hey, there's a lot of fat women out here, and I actually own a health and fitness gym, and I'm going to give you women a free 1-month membership to come into my health and fitness gym, and I'm going to have 3 personal nutritionists in there so they can help you with your eating habits and help you overcome. See, I'm gonna have more respect.
Okay, that's one strategy. Another strategy is informing the men to stay away from fat ass bitches.
That ain't gonna never happen.
Excuse me?
That ain't gonna never happen.
Okay, then by that logic, the men ain't never gonna do mode 1.
Like, well, no, hold on, wait, time out. No, they don't. Hold on, time out.
Well, right quick. You're offering strategy to men, and I don't down that strategy. See, I don't shit on the strategies that you offer to men. However, you shit on the strategies that I offer to men.
Why did I shit on?
Excuse me, right quick.
Man, don't do that to me, game changer. You was trying to interrupt me, man. Why you going to anytime somebody
your dialogues are much longer than mine.
You try to interrupt me, bro.
Your dialogues are much longer than mine, and it spans multiple subject matters. So I can't cover them all by the time it's my turn to talk.
Mine cover. Wait, Bernard, I'm sorry. I got to get this out. You're saying my topics cover a bunch of different, basically all over the place. We started off talking about cheating. You were the one who took it to all these macro issues and shit. We would initially just start talking about it, and I simply said that I don't think women cheating on men is significantly more egregious than a man cheating on women. And then you took it all over the place. So don't try to act like I was the one who took it all over the place. You did.
Let's agree to disagree on that. However, the topic now that you brought up was, if what, largely the manosphere is doing is classified as bitching. So, now that we're on that topic, and, you just said that that my strategy ain't gonna work, which is, really just shitting on somebody.
Yeah, I asked you what your strategy. You said your strategy was to tell men to avoid flirting with and basically trying to connect with fat women, and I just simply said that's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's sitting on the strategy.
Hold on, wait, game changer. You're walking past, I think, a better counter argument. I think the better counter is if your advice, your strategy to dealing with the problem of so many overweight women is to convince men to just stop fucking fat women, and he says that's never going to happen. Well, his strategy when he said that the man should, say, hey, I have a fitness center and I'm giving away free 1 month free at the fitness center. Your next move should be by saying, oh, well, they never going to go work out. They're never going to work out just because it's free. I mean, they could pay $10 for Planet Fitness anyway right now, and they ain't even paying the $10. So what is a free membership going to do? That's not, or they just going to quit after it's not free no more, or they just going to start or not stick to it until some hard consequences get imposed on them, like not being able to get penis because Game Changer has motivated so many men online. Let's say if Game Changer channel get as big as Kevin Samuels and he motivate a large percentage of men to no longer fuck fat women, I think that could have an effect on things. So that's where I'm at with it. There are multiple ways to skin a cat, and that's one thing I said. I said I'm not getting into politics in this space, but it happens so much where people will criticize the way one person goes about this. They need to quit going about it that way. This person needs to quit going about it that way. Where there's lots of ways to do it. There's a lot, just going back to game, there's a lots of ways that a guy can get success with women. Mode 1 is one of those ways. And I hate when people just get up, even though Mode 1 personally wasn't my way of going about it, being very direct like that. I understand that it could work, so I'm never going to down it. It just wasn't my thing. So I think that's more or less what happens in these conversations is people will go at somebody else's method of getting to a problem. I think that's more or less what's happening. The Game Changer, you, to be fair, you've been guilty in criticizing Mode 1 and being direct. You've been guilty in that. So everybody, a lot of people have been guilty in that, and that's why it's constantly civil war in the
And
the
here's the thing,
manosphere.
Bernard, I want to point out that some people have accused me. I mentioned about when somebody's guilty of preaching or lecturing to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I pointed out since my Blog Talk Radio days, I never tried to pressure all men into being Mode 1. And not too many people have suggested that I have, but there's been a few. They say something like, "Oh, Alan, it seems like you want every." I say no. Matter of fact, my brother used to tell people all the time. He said most men aren't even cut out to be Mode 1. My brother used to say that as far back as the 80s. He used to tell guys, he used to say most men just simply don't have the thick enough skin and strong enough backbone to be Mode 1. So that eliminates a large percentage of men right there. Some men, they can't handle rejection. If there's at least one type of man who's never going to be able to be consistently Mode 1, is a man that's easily negatively affected by rejection, particularly abrupt and or harsh rejection. If abrupt or harsh rejection is something that leaves you fucked up every time it happens, you're not cut out to be Mode 1. You're just not. So I never tried. I just simply added to the conversation because here's what I was saying. And I don't want to go on a long digression about this, but I'll just say this quickly. One of the reasons I wrote Mode 1, came out with my Mode 1 method and eventually wrote a book about it is because a lot of men would try to argue that it's virtually impossible to score casual sex from women without lying to them to some degree, without being disingenuous to some degree, without being misleading and manipulative to some degree, or at minimum, without resorting to tricking and whining and dining. And I was one, based on my life experience, said that's bullshit. I've proven that to be false. And anybody who's been around me in real life knows I've proven that to be false. I ain't never had to lie to a woman to get in her pants. I ain't never had to be a misleading manipulator. And I ain't never had to be no sugar daddy or trick. I just had my powerful ass mouthpiece got women's pussy wet and they opened them legs for me. So it wasn't me writing a book saying, hey, every heterosexual man in society should stop what they're doing and be Mode 1. My attitude, if you want to continue to use indirect verbal game, if you feel like that's benefiting you, go to it. If you want to use whining and dining and you feel like that's benefiting to you, continue to do that. But I just don't want to hear you say the reason I'm doing this is because it's impossible to have casual sex with a woman by being straightforwardly honest. That's the part that I would say that's a damn lie. Plain and simple, that's a damn lie.
Mm-hmm. All right. We got. I got to break it up between a Game Changer and ARC. I got to get the people on the bottom of the panel. And I know Jackie Jack and Brenda haven't said anything in forever. So what I'm actually going to do. I'm not even going to go right to y'all on that on the back and forth between Game Changer and ARC. I'll let WT Funk. I'll let you ask your question, and I'll throw it to them to Brenda and Jackie Jack first. I'll let them get the first response to whatever your question or comment was. We'll do it that way. Shout out to Sonny's Hot Rod. He says, "Isn't the topic about women really want to hear the truth from men? So what are we doing here?" That was the original topic, the original question on the table. There were like 5 follow-up questions that were kind of loosely related to that. But we all, we get all over the place. We almost 3 hours in, man. Come on. But all right. Go ahead with your question or comment. WT.
Okay. What the funk is this?
What the funk?
I want to bring some alchemy into this, where it's like, I believe that the idea that women are going to change back to what we do, I think that's a pointless fight. Trying to turn these back to what our grandmothers, or the idea of what our grandmothers were. I think the solution would be as a lot of women have changed, we have to end up having to change along with it. And I think that women are things. Women, we don't own their vagina. Alchemy speaking wise, if a man cheats, then alchemy is going to impose that woman might end up cheating on you. That's how life works.
Okay, wait, hold on, wait, back up. And you hold on, you kind of choppy a little bit, and you keep saying the word alchemy. What
alchemy.
does? Yeah, what does that got to do with this? I'm a little confused about that.
Okay, alchemy means like whatever you kind of do, it comes in returns. So kind of tying it into the point of who was saying, well, cheating. I think
like you're talking about karma. What goes around comes around.
It's a little bit more complex than that, but sure, we can't ask women to say like, well, I'm providing and I'm providing this money, and I do, and then I cheat, but because I'm providing for her, I deserve the fact to be able to do that, and she can't do it because I'm putting her in this place. I mean, wise, that makes zero sense. Whatever you put, get back. Think of Dale Curry.
All right. Okay. Wait. No. Hold on. We're gonna. I'm gonna stop you right there, because, bro, to be honest, you're breaking up bad. But I think everybody heard your question or your comment, and I'm gonna go to Brenda and see what she got on that one. Go ahead.
Okay, so I wish I had RC 8.
ARC.
Yeah,
you can go ahead and give some response to that if you wanted to.
Yeah. So actually, one of the reasons
I thought that was too. They was going too many rounds. I didn't know if any y'all wanted to even jump in on that, but
right.
But no, you can go ahead and respond to that, and then respond to What the Funk.
Yeah. So I totally understand actually the two sides, Game Changer side and also ARC side. Why? Because exactly that we're trying to find a happy median. Because I have been exposed to both, where like I didn't have the pretty girl privilege, and I actually categorize this pretty girl privilege with the manipulation. Like, because the girls know they're pretty, they can actually get a lot more from these guys, and so I never understood how to do that. But now I ended up having the pretty girl privilege. I realized the world is a little nicer, and guys are a little bit nicer. They're actually now coming to me. But during my younger days, I was trying to figure out how can I be appealing to these guys, and so I understand where the beta to beta to alpha.
How did you become How did you become appealing to those guys?
Physical aspect. I was 174 pounds, and then I ended up losing weight, and even
wait. You're telling me that when you were 174 pounds, there were guys that wouldn't fuck you?
Yeah.
I heard from a very wise man that'll never happen. I heard from a very wise man that would never happen. That guys just somehow innately can't help themselves and fuck a 174 pound woman. So you're telling me that as a 174-pound woman, men didn't want to fuck you, and as a result of this, you lost a lot of weight. Now, do you think a better solution would have been a free month's gym membership?
No, actually, that doesn't work. Remember,
I
coach women. I also coach men. But ultimately, whenever it comes to the physical aspect, or for women to actually lose weight, there's more psychological aspect to it. So I had to do that soul searching to figure out, why am I not desirable to men? Why are men not flocking to me? And I did tons of research, even learning that, okay, as I get older, my face structure will change if I lose weight, etc. And so and that's where it's like, I start with the weight loss so they can actually be appealing, because men are visual creatures. I was like, all right, cool. But luckily, I was smart enough to kind of get my education. But at the end of the day, if I was trying to attract men, it boils down to like, looks are the only, unfortunately, they're the only things that can sell me. And then now whenever I talk, can we have a real conversation? And so that kind of turned for me. And so and I also have a mouthpiece. I do come off a little bit more masculine, but now I know how to rest my energy and, fall back a little bit. But whenever I was in that heavier state, I didn't have men flocking to me. And I was in college. I did the freshman 15, sophomore 30, etc. And I didn't realize, but it was half of it was due to birth control. That's why I don't believe in it. Because of the changing of hormones, etc. But I eventually realized, okay, I can do something about it. All right, cool. And the funny thing about ARC, whenever he was saying that now he's doing something about it, which is great. But women have to actually do the work. You can give them a free membership. I can tell you free sometimes, because you're not paying for it. It's not going to work easily unless they are purposefully actually wanting to better themselves. So the only thing that man could do is actually restrain kind of talking to or getting sexually involved with those women so that they can
All
kind of
right.
etc. So
All right,
anyway,
let's go this
yeah.
route. Let's transition to what the funk is. This is question where he more or less said that men can't be expecting that, even though they offer more. Hey, indigenous, chill, man. Got cut it out, indigenous TV. Behave yourself. Man, he said basically, shit. What was he saying?
No,
He was saying basically. Go ahead. You can reiterate it, game changer.
He was basically saying men and women cheating are essentially the same thing, and it's quid pro quo if a man cheats that a woman would cheat on him.
Yeah, even though a man is technically offering more most of the time in a relationship, because women more times than not, I mean, yeah, they have their lust and their desires, and sometimes they just wanted to get with that dude for emotional reasons or physical reasons. But a lot of times, what they get with a dude in a long-term relationship is because, yeah, not all the time, but a good percentage of the time, it's because he's offering, he's offering more to her, more benefit to her. Men normally are paying the majority of the bills. He's offering protection and provision and all of that, blah, 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 blah. We know the story. And so I think your argument would be the game changer to some degree. That's why it's not necessarily an equal fit. It's not necessarily an equal exchange. He has more leverage in that situation to demand that she don't have sex with somebody else, but she can't necessarily demand that of a man. Does that make your argument? Does that help your argument?
No, it's not really.
I mean, is that your argument? I should say.
No, it's not
a
really
little bit.
Oh, my bad.
On this side of the world in the EU, what they do with children involved or break up, 50, like no matter what, it's really not so much of a child.
All right.
So the thing with
listen. I want you to go ahead. I had to drop you down. Yeah, your plantation wireless is sounding bad. Type it out in the private chat. Anything you want to add, I will read it, and I will read whatever you're typing out in the private chat. But I think we got your question pretty much right. Jackie Jack, I'll throw it to you on that. If I don't even know if you're still there. You ain't saying nothing. Okay,
Yeah, I'm here.
still there. Okay. Go
I'm
ahead.
here. I guess it's the question is it worse for women to cheat than men, right? Is that what we're coming down
Not
to?
exactly. Game changer, restate the question as you understood it. Or restate his statement as you understood it. Or if you could type fast with the funk, you can type it out in the private chat. But I can't let you up with that plantation wireless. I don't know what's going on with that.
Restate what the funk's point of view of it is.
Yeah.
Basically, he's essentially saying it's the same thing that when a woman cheats versus a man cheats, and men that cheat, that money isn't enough of a reason to deter a woman to not cheat. Also, he was saying that if a man cheats, then it's quid pro quo for a woman to cheat.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So he's basically saying the cheating is even, and it's both egregious at the same amount of level. And just because a guy can provide for her doesn't mean his cheating it's okay for him to cheat. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he's saying.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'm going to start off with a disclaimer. I don't condone any cheating, and and it's come from what ARC said earlier. If it's involved lying, I mean, I don't condone any of that, but I do have to lean towards women cheating. Is it's just from if I think about it from my perspective, if I'm gonna cheat, I just think it's just gonna be I'm just gonna be like really I'm being malicious if I'm cheating. Like I'm really just trying to blow it all up if I go and cheat. So that's the only reason why I think it's worse when women cheat, because I know ARC said there's some women that just cheat for sexual reasons. I just don't know too many women that just do that. That just cheat for sexual reasons. Most of the women I know are cheating because they want to blow it up.
Okay,
They want out.
so the times that you cheated, did you blow it up?
Oh, I've never cheated before.
You gonna snitch on yourself then renege? Okay, cool.
Oh,
All right.
I didn't snitch on myself. I've never, like, even after being after being out of a relationship, I'll be like, man, I should have just cheated so I could just get out of this, and I just never did. Like people, like when he was talking about, well, some women just cheat because they're not satisfied, and if the guy is providing all this other stuff, they're not gonna leave. They'll just keep having sex with these other dudes. They're not gonna leave. I mean, I have been in relationships where guys were not providing much, and I still didn't cheat because I just didn't. I just thought it was wrong. I couldn't do it.
All right, we're passing it to well, shout out to Al Boogie in the building with the $2 super chat. I do appreciate that. He says, what the funk, got his hanger on his phone. Also, shout out to Sodomy and Chicken. He says, LOL, dudes want to turn back the clock when the women gets the women in check. He'll come back for you and put you in your place. Boomerang. All right. Car designer Chris in the building says, women have always gone to the highest bidder. Even cave women did. Whoever had the most bear meat. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. He says, women step out for the same reason men step out. I think it's some truth in that. I was agreeing with, I think, what ARC was saying when he was saying that they a lot of times will try to explain all the deep-rooted emotional, psychological reasons why a woman will cheat. And then they would, with men, they've said, oh, well, he's just a man. He's a bad man. But quite often, I think a lot of the times it's a similar reason. That discussion happened on my show where somebody was trying to break down all the psychological reasons that why men cheat or blah blah blah. No, I think a Game Changer got it right. He wanted two vaginas. He wanted to have two vaginas instead of one. But I think that's in most cases the reason why he did it. And I think quite often women are and women do it for similar reasons. But mad scientist in the building, he says, men with options, no, she's never yours. It's just your turn. Only game goofy men are asking about body counts. This conversation wasn't exactly about body counts, even though we did have that thing. But no, I do take the position that if it's more than just a casual fling hookup thing, and I'm actually in a relationship with you and I'm actually offering more to you than just a casual hookup type of thing, yes, I do expect there are expectations that don't involve you having sex with another man, and if those expectations are not met, then you're out of here. Yeah, so that taking full ownership thing, yeah. If we in a relationship and this is more than just us just having casual sex, then yeah, I put those expectations on. It is what it is. But all right. Shout out to everybody who's super chatting and support the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you. The masculinist is in the building. Go ahead, you have the floor. You got the mic.
Yeah. The question about the cheating, is it okay for a man as opposed to a woman?
You can take that and go ahead.
Well, I think that the cheating it's not okay, as far as, like you said, if you're in a relationship where y'all actually discuss and determine that, y'all both will be the monogamous, because it's more about like respect and discipline, for one another. But if it's not discussed, then I mean, this is kind of like the person can do whatever they want to do.
You said if it's not discussed, somebody can do whatever they want to do.
I agree
Yeah,
with you.
like if you
Unless
get
you have a conversation that says specifically you cannot sleep with my twin sister, then
Ah,
it's fair game.
gotcha. Gotcha. All right, yeah. If you're talking about just simply just getting the arrangement set up front out the gate, then yeah, then no, I think that's ideal, and that's where mode one come in and is effective. It'll even though one could argue that you may get less action being mode one, but when you do get it, you're getting it under the exact terms and conditions that you laid out and she followed. So that's
exactly,
to me in my mind, that's I don't know, ARC may even agree with this, but to me he'll say the big mode one is good for eliminate. The best thing about it, it guarantees that you will eliminate the manipulative time wasters. That is true. But to me, it's the best. To me, the best thing about it is you will eliminate or no, you will get the exact you will end up getting exactly what you want under the exact terms and conditions that you want because you laid it out and she agreed to it from the start. So yeah, absolutely. All right, we 3 hours in. I was holding out for Edward Anderson. Ed said he was going to be up in a little bit, but we might not get Edward Anderson today. But we'll throw it to Devontae Boyd, accountability. Wait, there go Ed right there. There go Ed right there. Devontae, what you got real quick? Devontae going once.
So what's the question again?
No. I thought you was coming up for a question, to ask a question or make a statement.
Oh yeah, I could make a statement right quick. Yeah, so I think cheating is like really like unnecessary for real, for real. I don't think it's a point to cheat. I
The
think
point
you
is two vaginas. The point of cheating is two vaginas. What do you mean there's no point? That's the point of cheating, to have multiple vaginas. No, honestly, like that's the point. You say there's no point, but the point is another vagina. That's the point. If you want to know the point of why men cheat, that's the point.
Yeah, I think Game Changer is right. Bottom line is just to have options. Like they don't want to just stay with one; they want two of them. So,
or more.
Bottom line, like because if we don't want if we're only arguing on men, just cheating is just two vaginas. But if we're going to dive deep into the psychological aspect, now we get to dissect, and that gets a little bit more messy and complicated. That's why I ramble on. But ultimately, to have two or three, four, don't matter.
All right.
Endless.
Wow.
Go ahead, Devontae.
Oh, okay. So y'all think that's like okay to do that though? Like
I mean, that was
It's not
just
a
move like
discussed.
that?
Yeah, that was we
I
discussed that in
yeah.
depth.
I
I'm gonna
mean,
drop you down, bro. Go ahead, and Ed, you're probably gonna take us home. We're probably going to get up out of here in a little bit,
oh,
but go ahead. We
but
might end up
Edward
going for
Anderson
another.
segment.
We might end up going for another 30 minutes. We
I
never
appreciate
know.
that.
But no, overall, no. I mean, I know you've been, probably on and off listening and probably had a lot you wanted to comment on. So I'll let you go ahead and have it, pick it up wherever you want to. Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna do better about having the camera up. I need to get a link or find mediocre to get that camera because I want to get that good camera too when I come on. But anyway, shout out to Alan Roger Curry who was up here. I forget some of the other people that were up here, and I saw the interaction between Game Changer and ARC. I mean, I'm kind of in the middle. I mean, my thing is they were talking about two different frequencies. He's talking about the individual argument. I completely understand. It's equally wrong at an individual case by case. You're going to court standpoint. But when you talk about the impact of what loose vagina can do, the black, I point, as SWP used to say, I point you to the nearest black community, because women control sexual access. So from a macro standpoint, it is worse. It's more impactful. So I get what Game Changer was saying, but it's like a moral argument versus an impact argument. Because women, and here's the biggest thing I want to add to the conversation that wasn't added, because I don't want to relitigate all that, especially with ARC not being here, but I do understand the in the middle. I want to ask a question to the panel.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the laws of nature, so for example, STDs don't count because that's a natural thing that happens with being loose sexually, whether you're a man or a woman. And obviously that's pretty much equal as far as, overall. What is a check against women in this society, against women just completely slutting out?
What is the check against it?
Yeah, for example, if a man cheats on a woman, a woman can there's child support, there's alimony, there's a lot of consequences. What's a check on the other side?
Her own morality.
Hold on, okay. Yeah, I get you. I just want to. That's no. What's her? When I say a check, what is something that's not self-imposed?
No,
so
there
I'll
isn't.
adjust that.
Yeah.
I'm asking everybody.
No, my answer is there isn't one.
Okay.
That's why it's important. That's why if she doesn't have sexual morality, then things.
Yeah, well, this is why I was kind of not that I didn't want your answer, but this kind of goes to what the point you were making. That's why I want to see what the rest of the folks say, particularly the ladies.
Her man could leave her.
Testing.
Jackie Jack tossed an answer out there. Can you hear?
I mean,
if he
but if he leaves her, okay. Let's say a woman cheats on a man when there's no prenup and it comes to marriage. Let's say he didn't come into the situation with money, but he's making more money now, and she cheats on him and leave her. I can tell you, and I've seen this happen to white people. The woman can't get money, so she can punish him for that. That doesn't always happen in court, but there's a consequence even for the dude leaving. And it's not like we live in a society where if a man leaves a woman because the woman cheated in a marriage and they have kids, that the man automatically gets custody, which means child support. Bernard, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm full of shit on that, because you got kids, I don't.
Yeah, most likely the woman. It isn't written that way. That it doesn't just explicitly say the woman automatically gets custody and the man has to pay child support. That's normally how it works out.
Her being a cheating whore has no bearing on her being a good mother for the children.
No, they won't take that. No, they won't take that into consideration at all. No. But we did hear on the lead attorney, there was an actual social worker who was on there arguing that a man cheating on the woman, that should affect him getting custody of his children. Like there are female social workers who bring their ideology to that, and then you may think that's not that big of a deal, but the social workers, the arbitrators, all of those ones, those are the ones that make the recommendation. They make the recommendation to the judges. So there's that. So to answer your question in short, and to make it short, sweet, and simple, no, there is no societal there's no societal enforcement in that way to basically put a woman in check in terms of that. That's the reasons. I mean, questions like the one that you're asking is part of the reason why this space even exists. To tell you the truth, I mean, because men found a way to speak out against all of that.
And by the way, in the comment section, if y'all got something that nobody's thought about, please place it in there. Or if you agree that there is no check on the other side, press 1. I'm curious, Jackie. That was a good response. You gave a response. A lot of people would just flip the table. So Brenda, what do you think? And this is an honest. I'm not trying to checkmate, or do anything like that.
No, I know Game Changer is right. I mean, there is no check whenever we do it. But if I was to argue on the, I guess the village mentality, or depending on what kind of religion background you come from, everybody in the village checks you, and that's why it's nobody's in the Western society in America. There's no check. We take it to the court. They only look at facts, and so now it's like, yeah.
So let's make it a little bit more harder, or easier. Let's take the courts and the tangible checks out. And this is, I'm curious what Jackie has to say. Being that you grew up, I mean, people grew up in America, because I know there's social checks outside the United States. That's why I'm saying that. In the United States, do you think that there's social checks, like there's shaming, for women, like let's say cheating, or let's say women just leaving because of what they call irreconcilable differences, but they can't really point to nothing the man did. Hell, the man still makes the same amount of money. We know money and sex are the top two reasons women say they divorce. So fine, but is there even any social checks for a woman just bouncing on some Megan Good type shit? Even though technically Devon filed for divorce, to be fair.
Right.
Did anybody hear his question? Because I'm sorry, I was
Like,
reading
is
the
there
chat.
any social checks? Like, so not tangible legal punishments, but
Oh,
is there any shaming involved in this
oh no,
society?
there
Yeah.
are some social checks, even though again women are successfully fighting against that. Thus,
What
stuff
example?
like slut walks or whatever. But no, it is still, women do still try to obscure the fact that they be getting it in and be messing around with a lot of dudes sleeping around. They do want to obscure it. They don't want to, not most of them don't want to just wear it on their sleeves. So
I
there's
mean, if
that.
somebody came out of let's damn the 1960s, because I know ARC wrote the book with that change. If we go back to the 80s or the 90s, early 90s compared to today, like I'll give you a perfect example just to be fair. There's a video with Megan Thee Stallion, some kind of Jamaican artist. It just came out. It's a music video. It came out like 3-4 weeks ago, and even I was looking at the Shade Room, and they played like clips of the video, and there was a comments of like 1,000 people commenting. I'm seeing a list of women even like this song is not that great. Like they wanted to like it, but they just couldn't like it because the music video was literally a pornographic movie. To the point where even the black women in America were like, this is a little bit too much. This is too much. The chick literally had her legs open, and Megan Thee Stallion, they had a virtual portal. And when I say her legs were open, you could see the chick's face too. So she's laying down, legs open, and Megan Thee Stallion twerks her way outside of the portal in between her legs. This is the kind of video that was. They were literally like wrapping their tongues around each other in the video. This is a video that was shown on regular television. And even the women were like, nah, this is a little bit one inch too much, on this. And the song was trash. So my question. So really, the fact that you could even do something like that, the fact that Cardi B has a Pepsi, she didn't do it in this Super Bowl, but last year she usually does the Pepsi Super Bowl commercials. When Ludacris, who's not the worst of the bunch rappers by no means, got attacked by Bill O'Reilly and lost that, and that was just 10 years prior.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you have some of the people that you have out today, the slut walk is just a formality. To be honest with you, it's open season compared to like even like 20 years ago. So, I mean, I would argue there is zero social checks. There's no really single mother. Nobody's really shaming single mother today. I mean, hell, they don't even shame single mothers in the black church no more.
But Edward, we're civilized.
I get what you're saying. Like but we can make an argument that there may be some vestiges of social checks. Like, the Jedi used to exist in the original trilogy, and there's like one or two running around. But my point is, the reason, this is why I would say to, Alan, because I agree with a lot of stuff, and he stands on a lot of stuff he says as far as backing stuff up when there's fire. But we're not really talking about him personally. He would just happen to be on the panel. But my point is, we say what we say to the men, because I don't expect women to change their behavior without an environmental shift. We say what we say to the men because honestly, that shit, there is a big part of that shit that's our fault. That the shit started because people don't understand it. White men were the main dudes that actually promoted abortion, actually. And then the women just became the face of it. A lot of people don't know that. BGS did a video when it talks about Elle magazine, where they talk about the propaganda around that. They were pushing that, like the origin of a lot of these cosmopolitan, girls, freedom stuff, where they made it sound really good. And a lot of the men use feminism as a way to control other men. Let's take race out of it for a second. White men did not like that other white men bucked really hard against the Vietnam War. And they said, this is a problem. We don't want dudes to do what they kind of did in January 6th, storming the Capitol and stuff. So we need a way to tamp down that masculinity a little bit, because men can overturn societies. And feminism, the suffrage movement had already existed, was already in place if you just let the dam up a little bit. And that's what they did. Feminism is a class warfare tactic, and international feminism is a soft power tactic in order to undermine other countries. This is what Africa's starting to go with. My point, just to land it, because I know I could, stay in the clouds and run out of gas, is that it was a weapon. And now it's a weapon that's come back to bite them. Even when you look at things like the Monahan report that talked about jobs and undermining black men, now that culture in which Monahan actually predicted, BGS just did a video just a couple of
Ed,
years
I was
ago.
timing people out for trying to bring the Monahan
All
Wars
right, well,
into
I'll
the
leave it.
chat
Okay,
room.
I'll leave it. I'll take. Okay, cool. I wasn't here. I'll keep it out of that. My point is that people. This is my overall point. The people that make the policy know what's up, and I'm talking about on liberal and conservative sides. And every step of the way, they've done this. And now what's happening, and this is where Game Changer, what he was saying, all of this stuff is coming to bite people at the same time. And this is where I get mad, and this is where I take Alan Roger Curry out of it, because he doesn't do this. When I see people like pro-blacks, politicians, and others look up and say, well, how did we get here? I just don't know. And these are people that are supposed to know. That's when I get mad, because that's intentionally lying and constantly resetting the conversation. The women are incapable of actually figuring this shit out until it becomes so bad that it just almost can't be fixed, because they're going to do what's in their own best interest, because that's not female nature. That's human nature. And so my point is, there are no checks against women's behavior. And a lot of the men, too many niggas are cool with that. Too many white boys are cool with that. We can't fuck with the white boys because they can't get past racism, even though this feminism stuff is biting them, because a lot of their racist things undermining other groups. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. But that's kind of the overall thing. So it seems like it's bitching, but it's really not. It's really convincing a lot of dumbass niggas that they just want to act like, well, I can just individualize my way through it. No, you can't. Macro and micro are different economics for a reason. Anyway.
All right. No, in short, and one, I should have let Devontae Boyd stay up there. I think he was trying to come up here and debate with us. He just did it in a goofy way where he just asked a question that just got answered, and people like that who just seem like they ain't.
Well, he's on some hyper conservative, don't have sex until you're married.
No, I don't think it's hyper conservative. I think he may be just overall just
hyper blue pill.
I think that's where it was going. And I like to debate people like that. But he said, no, that's the point of you being single, though you shouldn't be sleeping around anyway, at least when you're single, not dragging someone's heart. Yeah, dragging someone's heart in the dirt. Cheating is a low character move. Yeah. I should have left him up, but he wasn't he wasn't communicating quite right. But I probably should have. But anyway, overall, the one takeaway from what you said, and we about to wrap this thing up, but one takeaway from what you said is that yes, a lot of the policy that got passed because it was a lot of men bought into it. A lot of the feminists not only did a good job at selling to other women that they need to not live the life that they were living, and they need to live a different type of life. They also had a sales pitch to men as well, and a lot of the men bought into it. A lot of politicians bought into it, and that's why everything is the way it is. And it's funny that Brenda letting out a big ear-to-ear smile when I say the men bought into it. It was like that was a little devious, sinister smile.
Well, the men were lied to, and men
she let out on that one.
And men lie to other men today too. So I'm not like I keep saying this. The red pill is 360. We know what happened. There was a lot of feminism is because of the class warfare amongst men. That's really the class warfare and individual competition. And men won't run through women like they'll run through men. So you use them as a buffer. But the problem is, at the same time, because women bought through that, this is why when women want to cry me a river about all the stuff they deal with, I'm like, you vote for the Democratic Party at 96%. I'm fucking sorry. No fucks I give. And I don't do bailouts. So when you look at, even if women had a kid, understand, my mom had 3 kids by 3 different dudes. So I'm not here to judge you on the perfect way to do it. But at the end of the day, my mom owned that shit. And what you have is a lot of women that they want all the consequences that men have to absorb for the society they bought into, women bought into. But women want all the benefits and none of the liabilities. And you got women that even are quote unquote good women that when they get around these other women, they will group up. You didn't see a lot of women really pop off until Kevin Samuels really blew up, because now they figured the coast was clear enough, and then they started to realize there's others of us that think this way. So at the end of the day, coming on here and telling us about what it is cool. Shout out to Shay Sade, because Shay Sade will actually talk to these people and tell them to their face. We need more of that, and that's what Kevin was also saying. Also, as far as Devontae is concerned, Devontae's on some all women are good and women get. He's one of those pump and dump creates bad women. You create the women you complain about stuff, and I can tell you if a chick is jumping on the pump and dump train, they know what they're jumping into. Like, I don't want to hear that. Women, all this hot girl summer, not girl stuff rhetoric, you don't really see no pushback against that. I don't want to hear no women are innocent bystanders until the big black penis runs through them and destroys them. Nah, damn that.
All right. Real quick, I'm gonna go around the panel for final
Yeah.
words, but we're real quick. Freeman's General in the building. He said a lot of black men like the gynocracy. They want black women to come to the table. He says they want black women to come to the table. They are going to talk black women to death instead of talking power, a pat on the head instead of a kick in the ass. Good luck with that. I don't know exactly what black men you're talking about when you say a lot of black men like the gynocracy, and you said they don't want black women, or they want black women to come to the table. I don't think that's wanting the gynocracy if you want black women at the table. The person who likes the gynocracy is the person who says it's just fine the way it is. I think that's the person who likes the gynocracy. So the people that come to the table, people, even though I have problems with that term, come to the table for various reasons I'm not about to get into, but I don't think that's the person who likes the gynocracy. That's the person who wants to see it change, and then you could argue whether or not his methods are effective. But
Yeah.
he does, yeah. That's probably the best way to put that. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. We're gonna go around. We're gonna start at the bottom and work our way. Well, Ed, you had your last words. So we go.
He said, "I'm
we gonna
making
go.
a decree because I need to go." I appreciate that. That's fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jackie Jack, we're gonna go Jackie Jack, Brenda, then Game Changer, then get the hell up out of here. 'Cause
Oh,
I gotta
can I
eat
can I
something.
just say I'll do a stream, start a stream. I'm gonna hop off here and start a stream so we can carry it over. If some of the people on the chat want to carry it over or ask me questions about this, and then I'll hop off just to save you some time.
All right. All right. Go ahead, Jackie Jack. You got the floor. You got the mic for your final words.
Hey, you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. I think we addressed the guy that came up. I think we addressed what he said before he came up. No one condoned cheating from anybody. It's just we were just saying that when the cheating comes from the women, there's more damage that's done. I don't think anyone condones cheating between men or women. So I think he wanted to debate that, but we would end up agreeing with him besides the part where we think that women cheating is a different problem. And when it comes to I forgot what else I was about to say, but I just wanted to address that. I think we already talked that we don't think it's a good idea for people to be lying to people to cheat on their partners. And that's what I want to end on.
All right, go ahead, Brenda, with your final words. Thank you, Jackie Jack. And by the way, I do appreciate you. I did send emails out to 5 people to have a 6-person panel. 1 person didn't show up. You were an on-the-spot replacement. I do appreciate that. But go ahead, Brenda, for your final words.
Yes. So throughout this conversation, I actually learned a lot. As I said, especially from the back and forth between JC and ARC. But one thing I have found out is that hopefully I don't get dragged for this, but I believe that men are actually the reason of broken consciousness of in women, and so that is a whole different debate itself. But pretty much what ARC was saying, like we shouldn't be judging the woman from actually doing exactly what the man is doing, but at the end of the day, men and women are different, and so that's where I'm going to leave that part out. And ultimately, we shouldn't be cheating on each other. We shouldn't even be. If that's the case, then you shouldn't be in relationship. And if you're going to cheat, make it a contract. Say this is what I'm going to do, and the only one way that will be cheating is if you don't tell your partner and then you just do it behind their back. And so ultimately, whenever it comes to, I guess, male and female, it's just we're different, and women go by different rules, men go by different rules. But eventually, how are we going to create a system? How are we going to create a system that we actually work together instead of, saying one group of guys are bitching, the other group of guys we're leaders. But at the end of the day, it's how you come off, and also in this society and what you're doing about it. So this conversation is actually we're doing something about it because we're trying to invoke the thoughts for people to actually be thinking about that. So thank you so much for having me on the show, Bernard, and yeah, and thanks to the audience. And so they're great.
All right, thanks for coming. Appreciate you coming up. Appreciate you being a part of this. Thank you. Game changer, you got the floor, you got the mic for the final words.
So yeah, great show, Bernard. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to be on. I wish I could come up perhaps in the future, but thanks for having me regardless. And a lot of agreeing to disagree, but overall great conversation, great build. I wouldn't say that anybody on the thing was bitching. We was having a dialogue, and it worked for us, and greatly appreciate the opportunity to do that.
All right. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.